Hello everybody and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is How to Train a Speedrunner, and tonight we have Praey for the Gods. But before we get into that, just a few quick announcements. Flame Fatales is going to be having its next all-women speedrunning event, Flame Fatales, from August 21st to 27th. The marathon schedule is out right now, so you can type !FF in Twitch chat, which I guess is probably like there, or you can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more information on that. Also, the prize submissions are open now, so you can go check out the site for more information on that. And then also we have One and Doneathon coming up again. That's going to be on August 13th and 14th. That is a marathon where you can show off your favorite run, and then that's the only appearance you get in One and Doneathon. After that, you're out. The schedule is out now. You can use !OAT in chat, so OADAT in chat to learn more now. With all of that said and done, I'm joined by some wonderful people tonight. Why don't you all introduce yourselves?
Hello everyone, I'm Usurpering, and I am going to be showing off this wonderful game to you for the very first time in any kind of marathon setting or any marathon stage view on stage settings. That's a wonderful, wonderful achievement. And I'm actually joined by some commentary people. So, Tactic, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, how's it going? I'm Tactic, and I'm currently the world record holder right now.
Yes, and we also have Fuzzles.
Hi, I'm Fuzzles. I'm a router and runner for this game, and it's quite amazing.
Yeah, so usually I know on this show, commentary isn't necessary, but there's a few reasons why I've got commentary with me now. So I'm actually playing this game on a PlayStation 4 version. My PC, he's not doing too well over there, so I can't actually play games on it. So I'm the only PlayStation 4 runner, and most other runners are going to be PC. So they know everything about, keyboard and mouse, they know everything about all that different stuff. They also played the game when it was in its beta version, so they have a lot of let's say lore on like all the skips, how the game progressed, etc, etc. And yeah, so I guess we can just start hopping right into settings and stuff. So you have like typical language settings, so you can kind of customize the game into like what you kind of want. So there's different controllers and stuff, so you can move like sensitivity around, like sound volume, music volume. One thing to note, you can invert the cameras and stuff. One thing to note is, so this is like a boss fighting game, so there are 8 bosses in the entire run. It's very much like Shadow Colossus. In fact, it's very much inspired by it. It's basically like a love letter, in fact. So what I do to make my runs more comfortable is when the bosses shake, by default, you will have to repeatedly mash like circle on PlayStation 4 in order to stay on the boss. However, in the settings, you can change that to hold circle. So I just do that for like comfort reasons, which is really good for them. You can hide like HUDs and stuff. There's some like graphic settings, but not really. And there's 4 different kinds of controller settings. And for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to be using setting number 1. And then we've still got some more stuff to go through. So there's multiple different kinds of difficulties on this game as well. Probably too many. When I first bought this game, actually, I got very confused. I was just like, what version do I play on? So we have easy difficulty, normal, hard, and legendary. Every single one is different. And then below that, you can see story, boost, and survival. Those are the survival difficulties, and they really do spice things up. So in speedrunning, we run on easy story, mostly, because it's basically the closest to Shadow Colossus. It's just a simple boss rush. Get in there, get out, kill the dudes, kill the next dude, whatever. Whereas, if I were to do a legendary difficulty run, for example, I have to worry about, okay, I need to eat, sleep, not freeze to death, not drown, enemies hit you a lot harder, and yeah, all that lovely, lovely stuff. So I guess without further ado, we're going to actually get into the game. So we're on easy, make sure I'm on story. So we're going to do 80% first, because 80% is the most active kind of category on the leaderboard. And actually I have Tactic with me, who is the world record holder for that, sorry, who actually managed to get like a big milestone, the sub 1 hour RTA, which is like hella impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we have like a bit of like lore and backstory to the game.
One thing I'd like to add to the difficulty was another good reason we do story easy is because grapples don't break, so we can just spam that, and that's our movement system.
Yeah, so we're going to get to the grapple a bit later. So we have this intro and you can actually just skip pretty much every cutscene, either by just like holding X like I am, or you can do it a different way. And luckily this entire first bit of the game is just a tutorial section in a way. So this is us, we're this unnamed woman, and we have kind of come here. It's Ragnarok somewhere, you know, we need to try and save the world, I guess. And there's different kinds of movements and stuff. So this is a 3D platforming game. We can just walk, we can run, we can jump. If I hold sprint and jump, I will do a running jump, and you can see I have a health bar and a stamina bar. Sprinting will deplete my stamina a lot, and sprinting is the fastest way of movement apart from the grapple hook, and the grapple hook is like the biggest blessing in the entire run, because you just go zooming everywhere. And much like Shadow Colossus, you can also climb by holding or tapping R1. And it would like to remind me that I can change my settings. Yes, thank you, Gabe.
And to add to movement options, there is a roll that is quite useful.
Yes, I double tap my X button, I can roll, which is also pretty quick. So if I, if I sprint in deep snow, the deep snow is gonna like slow me down. But I can actually roll through deep snow and keep up like some more movement, which is faster than sprinting through deep snow. So there's a bunch of like different movement things. This is a bell. So a bell is what we're going to be ringing the entire run. Ha, funny pun. So if you played Shadow before, you'll notice in order to kill the bosses, they have kind of weak points or like sigils, and they kind of put that into this game. But instead of like a sigil you need to stab, it's like a bell that you have to ring 3 times. There are multiple bells like implanted on different spots of the bosses, and this is basically the game telling you, hey, this exists, this is how you attack it. So you just pull out the bell, hold square, tap square when it's all the way out. And you have to hold square like all the way until it's fully out. If you release the bell like too early, you won't actually ring it all the way. So this is much more tutorial stuff. There's more running and jumping. And again, the stamina in any percent, which is what we're currently running, is going to be on the minimum the whole time. And this is actually the grapple hook, the best item in the entire game. Do you guys want to talk about how great the grappling hook is?
You know, I have mixed feelings. It's good, but, you know, sometimes it just doesn't agree with you.
Yeah, so the grappling hook is going to be our main form of movement. You get this bullet time effect whenever you're in the air and use it. However, something to note is that wherever you lock on, it's not instant and the time still moves forward. So if anything moves in between you and your destination while you shoot the grapple, there is a chance that your grapple just decides to not work anymore and tells you to have a good day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and you can see I'm kind of trudging through deep snow at the moment, and as I said, I can roll through deep snow, which is quicker than just sprinting through it. But of course, if I jump and then hold aim the grapple, I go into, you know, the slow down time thing. And by doing that, if I aim it a bit more precisely, you can get some super duper optimized movement. And you're basically going to do this throughout the entire game in any percent, where you have to do a lot of like traversaling around. It's nowhere near as simple as like, you know, just riding on a horse and just enjoying life. You actually have to like think about some stuff, and you'll notice it's kind of heckin' windy right now as well. And don't worry, we're going to get to the wind physics in a bit. This is our first boss, so this is Satyr. This is just his head poking out. And he's the only boss that we have to kind of awaken, in a way. Again, it's a nice cozy tutorial section of the game. So he's got his little bell ringing thing up here. So I'm just going to ring it. I'm actually going to let the cutscene play, because everyone has an intro cutscene and a death cutscene. And we'd always skip the cutscenes in any percent and Echo Rush, because it's just, you know, genuinely quicker. And we can't usually skip the death cutscenes, but if we just basically essentially like Alt F4 out and back into the game, we can skip the death cutscenes. So this is Satyr, he's awake. Now, for a lot of the bosses, there's going to be multiple different ways in which you can actually kind of climb on them. So it do be him though. So he has fur kind of all over his body, which is grabbable. And you would have noticed there was probably like a grapple point in the tutorial section, where they have those grapple points all over some of the bosses, which means you can't just grapple onto anything. You have to only grapple onto certain
You got it?
You know what I mean? Yes, that is a word that I just invented. You can grapple on certain things, and on certain spots of the bosses, maybe like on the hand, the butt, the back, you know, you'll be able to grapple onto them because there's a specific grapple thing. Other times there'll be fur going all the way to their feet, so you can climb on that way. Sometimes there will be like high up like vantage points, you can like glide down. And when I say glide down, we don't have a glider right now. We'll have a glider like after we kill Satyr right here. So if I can actually turn around and field of view be like. So I'll just run back here real quick. So there's multiple different ways you can kill this one. Again, it is your tutorial boss, and the game kind of lets you figure out what to do. So for example, I can kind of grapple up here, and then grapple all the way up here. And the game kind of gives you this mechanic. Oh, go away. So you see this kind of thing right here? That's like a special glowing light. It's some ambience. And the bosses really don't like this ambient lighting. So when it lights up, Satyr's gonna get a headache, he's gonna get a big migraine, and he's just really not enjoying himself. Now usually what we do in Echo Rush, which I'll be showing you after I do any percent, is we use the like glider and sailcloth to glide onto his head when he's in this state. But unfortunately, because I don't have that at this point in the game, we can't quite do that. If I can lure him a bit closer, I would be able to drop down onto his head, but that is not the fastest way to get onto him in any percent. So usually what we do is he's kind of slow. So you can either grab onto his leg, or he has one of these grapple points on his butt, which we can get up nice and cushy. Perfect. And again, I have to watch my stamina the whole time. So your stamina will deplete at a steady rate in the game. And if the boss starts shaking, it will deplete faster. And you have to hold on, like manually hold on through holding circle. Yep, it gives you the prompt and everything. So I'm holding circle so that my stamina doesn't deplete so quickly. And then we just ring bell after bell after bell. And we do that until the boss is dead. And that's pretty much like it. For Satyr, really. You two got anything to add?
No, so he's very simple.
Satyr is quite simple. Satyr in the stun portion of the Satyr fight, there's a little technique that is used in that you can see in Tactics World Record Run. Because normally it would be stun Satyr, land on the head, then goes towards the shoulder. There's something in this game that's, I'll call it bell storage. So, as you've noticed when Usu strikes on Satyr, Satyr will do an appropriate shake to attempt to get the character off. Every boss in this game does that, but if they're stunned, they remember the first instance in which they were struck. So, by the time you were here and you've struck the head when Satyr is stunned, Satyr will do, I'll call it the rock out motion, to attempt to get you off of his head. And that's a fairly little thing. I think only one other boss makes use of this, and that would be Thrall, but we'll get to Thrall later.
Yeah. So if you've noticed as well, like there's a variety of different animation depending on which part of the body I'm actually going to be on for Satyr. So the camera, the photo mode in this game is so janky, you can just like kind of like move yourself around. So depending on where I'm at, depending on where I am on the body, Satyr will shake his body in different kind of ways. And if I always ring a bell every single time, he's going to shake. And sometimes we can use this to our advantage, where perhaps we trick him into thinking on a different part of his body, and then ring a different bell, be like, ha, psych, got ya. And we can do that on like a couple of bosses, I do believe. And again, if Satyr was stunned with like his migraine, like I just showed you earlier, he's not moving. You can ring his bell in that migraine state and he will just be like out cold until he gets back up, which gives you enough time. If you have perfect movement, you can kill off 2 entire bells in that time, which is like really, really good. So you can just ring bells successively, like bit by bit. But of course, if you get shaken, you get interrupted, and of course, the quicker we can, you know, get our bell rings in, the better.
Yeah, and we might get into it later, but like each shake has its own hitbox essentially, and if you're outside of that hitbox while it's going on, you're not affected by it. So
yeah. So for example, if State is shaking his head, that will not affect maybe his back, for example, because he's not shaking his back. And if there was a way to like transfer between like the head and the back and forth, then that would be, you know, ideal. And now he's, you know, he's dead. He's, you know, not having a great time anymore. However, we don't really want to be in this cutscene right now because this is an unskippable cutscene. Look, I'm holding the X button and the cutscene is skipping. What am I to do, a PlayStation 4 player who cannot Alt F4? Well, I have the answer to you. I'm going to back out of the application, close the application. All right, good, right, okay, nice, cool. Boost it back up. Yeah, this is fine. Bearing in mind, I'm on a PS4 Pro with no SSD, so my load times be like, whoa. It do be pain. But yeah, we do this after every boss death in any percent, because it's just, what is it, like a minute and a half of like nothing?
This cutscene's like 2 minutes, almost 3. Yeah, it's wild how long this one.
Yeah. And maybe you're thinking, you didn't save the game, you know, are you gonna be okay? Good news for you, the game autosaves as soon as you kill a boss. Even though it kind of has the death screen on it as soon as I load up the autosave.
Yeah, for some reason it just doesn't play the cutscene. We'll take it.
Yeah, don't tell the devs.
Don't tell Parnell, it's fine.
No, Parnell, please no. Goodness, but yeah, this will put us kind of in our, like, not midpoint, what's the word I'm looking for? The home world.
Yeah, kind of a hub.
The hub, yes, that is the word. So this is the hub, essentially. So Shadow Colossus has like its idols. Shush, game. I don't want to change the difficulty. It kind of have these icons, so usually the game will try and steer you towards fighting certain bosses in a particular order. So I skipped a cutscene where Saty's Ray of Light disappeared, and then Worm or Devourer's Ray of Light reappeared, which is that guy right there glowing. And the game wants us to go that way, so he's kind of got this glowing pillar of light that you can see there. But actually, any percent, we can choose any boss order that you want, and it's completely okay. So if you were really bad at one boss and want to fight that boss like first or technically second, then you can go in any boss order you want that suits you as a speedrunner. And usually what we do is we get our least favorites out the way first, right? Right, boys?
Yeah, the most painful, that's for sure.
Yeah, so Satyr is, we have to beat him. He is the tutorial. There's no way of skipping him. We have to go through him to get here. There's like a trigger for him to here, basically. And then we can just kind of move along as much as we like want. So usually I tend to go in like almost reverse order. That's what most of us seem to do, because the ones later are the more difficult ones. So, you know, naturally you want to get the more difficult ones out the way first. You want to get your run killers out the way first before you actually, you know, go into the easy ones. And Worm is the easiest by far. So Worm's just going to be here the entirety of the time. His little ray of light is just going to be like looking at us like longingly in the background. And we just have to ignore it and like move on.
And something of note, every time you go back to this hub world after defeating a boss, you see how there's roots all about and all of that. Those slowly grow and change over time, and it influences the routing a little bit. We tend to go to the left side out of this door, but we're going to go up here real quick and get our fancy paraglider.
Sailcloth-san! This is like other favorite item of the game. So now we can glide. So I can just jump, hold triangle, or press triangle, and I can just glide.
Breath of the
Now
Wild,
you can
baby.
actually, yeah, boy. So you can actually, you know, upgrade your armor and your sailcloth, but in 80% we don't do that. We just go on like our base equipment and base stats, because there's, you know, there's arrows here, there's a bow somewhere, you can get axes, swords, you can cut down trees, make firewood, kill some draugr, hunt some boar, you know, shoot a crow, all this cool stuff that we just completely ignore. Legit, I could shoot this crow right now, but I'm not gonna. You live another day, buddy. So usually the boss order I personally do. No, thank you, game. I never knew that. And if we hold L1, it'll tell us to fight Worm, but I'm really fighting the urge to fight Worm right now. Yeah, so personally what I would do, or what I do in my run, sorry, is so the 8th boss, the last boss, we always have to fight last. So no matter what we do, we always have to leave the last boss till last. So we fight bosses 2 to 7 in any order. So I fight them in order 7, 6, 4, 5, 3, and 2. Particularly because boss number 4 is in the air and he do be heckin' spinning, and that is not a fun time. Now, one of the reasons why I did want to show off any percent, I know like you might think, oh, traversing the land can't be that interesting, can it? Well, there's multiple different reasons. So the weather here is very clear because we're kind of in the hub, and we have like certain like routes that we take to each boss, which are semi-optimized, but also depend on wind. Do you two want to explain wind? Wind?
Pray. Just pray.
Just pray for the gods. That's it. Close
That's the
curtains.
one.
That's the show. Roll credits.
I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. I just cry about it. That's it.
Yeah, wind is the one major instance of RNG in this game. There's some things you can do to somewhat influence it, which is if you get to a high enough point, sometimes the wind will suddenly shift, but you have to be super high up. For instance, the pillar here, not the one that Usu just grappled to, but the mountain behind that, you would have to go all the way to the top, jump, and that would be high enough to, it's questionable whether or not the wind will decide to change. And to put things into perspective, if the wind is going in your favor, like on this track we're going to Thrall at the moment.
Yepers.
And if the wind is in your favor, it saves about 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
And if it's against you,
A minute loss.
yeah. And you just have to
Swim your way
accept
to
it.
him. Yeah, you just go like, okay, I gotta swim. Cool.
You can actually hear like a howling as well. So what I did a bit earlier, that's Krogon by the way, we're gonna fight him next. So there's a trigger for Krogon in the overworld in which he'll just fly over you. And when I saw him in my first playthrough, I kind of pooped myself because I thought, oh, he's coming for me. He's coming. So yeah, we're gonna fight him after Thrall. It's kind of really cute that you kind of get a glimpse of this big, large boy just flying over. It's really atmospheric. So there are like enemies in the overworld. I did mention draugr before, which, you know, they're just, you go over like a fight trigger and they're just kind of there, and then you can run away from them, get out of like the kind of trigger circle, and then they despawn. And there's another thing if you've heard the howling in the wind, and they are called wraiths. So wraiths again have like this radius of a trigger around them. And in this particular route towards Thrall, you kind of narrowly avoid one of these like trigger circles for a wraith, and if you don't grapple high enough, a wraith can actually spawn behind you, and they attack you very quickly, and they do a lot of damage. Even though we're on easy mode, because we're on base armor, yeah, they just rinse through like your health. It is like not even funny.
Yeah, the worst part about the race is that they knock you over.
Yeah. And like once you're knocked over, it's really not that fun to get back up.
And the race will also follow you for a fairly long distance.
Yeah, they don't give up, man.
Yeah.
It used to be worse in earlier versions. You could take them from
they were
side to side. Like, for instance, where we were going to Thrall, and later where we're going to go for Yeti, a wraith will follow you the entire way in previous versions.
Yeah, I never
But-
knew you could just grapple them to death. It's just one quick grapple. And
Yeah, so
Yeah.
wraiths have like 1 HP basically, and because grappling it's technically counted as a damage attack, you can
yeah.
just kill a wraith.
Yep.
So this is what we're talking about when it comes to like wind RNG. Thankfully, you can kind of tell what direction the wind's going by the way the character's hair is blowing and the way her kind of cape's blowing as well. So what you're usually supposed to do is you're supposed to like kind of go across this lake. You see those kind of dots down there. There are like not key mechanisms. There are some kind of mechanisms down there.
air vents, I believe.
Air vents, yes, that's the word for them. So this game has air conditioning inbuilt into and you can see the wind keeps turning like mad. And usually you have to go all the way around there, all the way around that iceberg, kind of up that guy, kind of around there. But if the wind is on our side, we can just about get that ledge down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a run up and just hopefully hold forward. Now I can hold forward, completely forward, and the game's wind will make me go in a completely different direction, and it is not funny. Looks like we're getting some okay RNG.
Just enough.
And the wind can change mid-air, by the way. I have some really good examples of wind RNG just changing, like in Echo Rush, where I'll be gliding in one direction, and then the wind will change, and then it's like I hit a brick wall in mid-air, I just stop, and then that can cost you serious time in your run, which is why any percent is also like a horrible experience, because you can lose your entire run to just the wind, the blizzard. It's really not a vibe. Really not a vibe. Yeah. So these are the kind of mechanisms I was on about, so they're air vents. So, we just skipped, the air vent down there, some stuff over there, the grappling stuff. So instead, we're just gonna...
Yeah, let's not
Like
brush
this.
over that good wind you just had, though. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
And also all the mechanisms, any mechanism you activate in this game. So we're doing vents at the moment. There's some other niche ones that we're probably not going to see in any percent. Drucky has a couple, but all of them are activated through those knobs. That is what you do to trigger. And now we have seedlings, or seeds.
Boy. Some seeds. Loopy boys. So again, this is a 7th boss. So the game usually assumes you're going in the correct order. So this is technically like a late game, like supplement, I guess, because you don't see these any earlier in the run. So this is basically like a setup to the final boss that gets introduced in the 7th boss, in a way. So these things, they're like very, very powerful ammunition. I don't know how it works, don't ask, but if you hold on to them, it puts you into slow down time. And you can see my stamina's depleting, because slow down time, again, depletes your stamina. Which means if I were to be aiming this at a boss, I have to be very careful of my stamina management as well. And that's not a fun time. And again, just showing off maybe a survival mechanic, so if I come near the fire, then like the character will like blow her hands, and she'll start warming up, and she's totally not on fire, not at all. Everything's fine.
Yeah. It's also important to note when it comes to the seeds and when you go to launch with them, if you run out of stamina, you're not forced to let go of the seed. Instead, you just lose the bullet time property.
Exactly.
Grapple hook be whack, yo. So yeah, it's way faster just to jump and grapple as much as you can. And only certain like textures are bubble, yes.
You got it,
word.
you got it.
The English
Yeah,
language.
ice is usually a no-go, and then anything that's like regular kind of mountain rock is a good grapple.
Yeah. So you guys saw how like I was like grappling along the mountain, the rocky mountain face to get here. So the reason why wind RNG is so important when I kind of glided down to the air vent is you cannot grapple onto those icebergs that the air vents are on because they're ice, and you can't grapple onto ice, but rock is fair game. Fair. So yeah, that's what that is about. And it's pretty much like the worst instance of like that in the game. So I also want to show you this thing, so it makes a noise when you get near it. This is a totem. So totems, if I pick it up, for example, it'll be like, yo, you got a totem. If you find 3, you can upgrade your stamina or your health. And if you want 100% the game, or if by some miracle in the future someone does 100% platinum all achievements run of the game, you would have to collect all 40, was it 40 or 60 of these in the game?
I think there's 60 now.
There's
Oh
60
yeah, there's
now.
6. Oh. Yeah, 60 of these bad boys in the game, and they will increase either your health or your stamina. And usually in 8%, we don't pick up anything. We don't pick up anything at all. These are some lore notes down here. But I remember in like one of your earlier full game runs, you used to pick up totems as well. Like
I used
you
to.
picked up a few. Yeah.
I used to get like, I think 2 stacks of it just because I don't even know why. I just needed the safety net, I guess. But now I don't
Yeah.
really need it.
Yeah.
There were a couple of strats that were stamina intensive. It's also really good as if you're coming into this game, you're new and you're concerned about your stamina management, you can pick up 3, and that kind of gives you a nice buffer that you don't have to be overly concerned with.
Yeah.
Also, like each weapon that you pick up is also locked to like your D-pad, for example. And so grapple's always like locked to like up on PlayStation. And I think if you ever enter like a cutscene, it will unequip you with whatever you have. So it's very important that as soon as you enter a boss cutscene, you have to equip. Because I've entered some fights, forgot to equip the grapple, jumped into the air and just like, oh wait, no, there I go. I'm dead.
Yeah.
So for
It's always a
example,
fun.
we can also do this, so we can sleep. So outside some of the boss areas, there's like a campsite. So we can put a fire down next to that fire pit, cook some meat if we have any, and it gives us like some bonuses. So we can have like stamina, quicker regen, or just, health like items. So if we get trampled or stomped, we can just heal ourselves back up to full health. That is a cat, don't mind him. or Lordy coming, or Lordy going. So, if I want to just have better stamina, I can just sleep before the boss.
Yeah, sleep is the only one that I worry about in my 90%.
Yeah,
Is
so
it,
we only really sleep once, don't we?
Yeah, only
If we wanted
here,
to.
if you want to. And it's just because your sleep, when you have full sleep, you regen stamina incredibly quickly.
Yeah. And it's also just another safety net, so if you were like very new to the run, for example, you can sleep, before any boss you wanted, provided that there's like a bed en route. So there's a bed like I think near Krogon's arena as well.
Correct.
Right?
Krogon has one right as you enter their cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really handy. So if you really are worried about your stamina management, especially for any percent, where you literally have base stamina and that's it, unless you got your way to collect totems, that is a great way to have that kind of feeling of, okay, I can recover my stamina, I'll be alright during a fight. And we get introduced to some more mechanics that we're going to use on the next boss. And aiming these things on the controller, let me tell you, so I have to use the... I don't even know my lefts and rights, to be honest. The right analog stick to aim and hold. But I have to constantly just listily lean it bit by bit in order to aim it. So we have a very precise aim coming up on this boss. And look, if I move it, it just kind of strays left and right a bit. And I have to rely on having enough stamina to readjust myself.
Oh, that's even worse than I thought. How did that not break that?
I don't know. Bruh.
There are some magical things about this game, and there's something as a key difference between me and Tactic play with keyboard mouse, Usu plays with controller, and honestly, Any is fine. Keyboard and mouse has a slight advantage, simply due to when you grapple about and aiming, it is easier to aim things with a mouse than it is a controller, but it's not something that holds you back to the point of, oh, you have to run on keyboard mouse.
No,
in the same note, there's no major differences between the versions. So there's PC, PlayStation, it's 4, and I believe it's on 5 as well.
Yes,
and then
it is.
Xbox 360 and 1, fairly certain.
I'm pretty sure just one, maybe 360.
It's probably just one, but there's no significant advantage or disadvantage between them. So it's not, we don't have the case of you need the PAL version from a particular year.
64.
Yeah. So that's very nice.
Yeah, so I also forgot to do something else as well. So this is the item menu. It's locked to like the map screen on controller. So this will show you like your entire inventory. So you can pick up like a bunch of different weapons. You can actually craft as well. And you can see this is like my armor items and stuff. You can pick up like map sigils as well, which show you like a full game map that you can collect along like the entire like overworld. So yeah, I forgot to mention it earlier. I'm so sorry. I am very five-head, big brain, big brain. So we're about to enter our second boss fight, which is also the 7th boss. And his name is Thrall, and we love Thrall. He's just the biggest homie of them all. He's just fantastic. No, for real, no cap. Like, you can see him just there. So I'm going to play the cutscene just so that you can kind of get a kind of glimpse of like his being, I guess. So I think the word Thrall actually means to like be enchained, which is kind of cool. Lore.
Fairly certain, yeah. Yeah, this is totally our favorite, and we are, on a real note, we are very grateful that one of our other runners, Judge Magister, who may be in the chat at the moment.
Yeah, he is. Everyone say hi to Judge.
He has found some amazing strats for Thrall. One that was founded a day or two ago, too.
Things can be found very like suddenly in this game without even like trying. Like we just had like on the last boss, for example, just like some developments on like how to traverse, even on like how triggers work and stuff. Because this game only came out, like the full game only came out in December of 2021, and there's only like 5 of us.
Yeah,
really?
there's only a couple of us working on it.
Yeah, so, and out of like 5 entire people who've ever like run the full game or in any way, shape or form, only a smaller like amount are actually like still currently running and going to find things. And the reason why we do Thrall second is because Thrall is a pain in the butt cheek. And so we are working more on the harder bosses rather than the easier bosses to find like skips and stuff. And Thrall has had some absolutely incredible developments. Now, in terms of like, I guess, how the speedrun of Thrall came to be. So if anyone's ever played this game casually, Thrall is a nightmare. I had a lot of people tell me I spent an hour and a half on Thrall, 2 hours. Some people have even spent like 4-5 hours just on this boss alone because he is so painful. I remember how I told you on Satyr that every single boss has like multiple different developer intended ways to get on them. Thrall is like, he follows along this rule as well. There are so many points you can grapple on him. There are so many ways you can like break off his armor. So many ways you can traverse him. And you have to kind of, so in Shadow Colossus, you can use the light of your sword, and you can find out like where the weak spots are. However, in this game, it kind of, sometimes there's like a faint like ray of light where the bell is, but you don't know that yet. And the reason why Thrall was such a pain in the butt is because everything's hidden under like armor, and you have to shoot the armor down using those flower seeds that I kind of showed you earlier, and their aim is really bad. So that's like plenty good fun. So yeah, he's another like bipedal thing, and we have to break off pieces of armor by using the kind of flowers kind of around this arena, and we tend to go for the same strat every single time. But I'm going to show everyone here like different ways you can kind of do it. So I'm going to just in general just break off as much armor as possible for 80% just to like show what can be done. And then in Echo Rush later I'm going to try and do the IL strat because it's just far more impressive and quicker, and it's just, if you're aiming for like top times, you have to be doing that, and you should also have to be doing that in 80% as well. So luckily in both 80% and Echo Rush you have the exact same like intro setup. You're in the same position, he's in the same position, his AI is in the same state, you know, everything's all hunky-dory. And we can actually kind of slightly manipulate Thrall's AI in this fight to do what we want. So I kind of need to get to like these tree stumps over here. But Thrall, he has big hands with black nail polish, so I dig it. And he's gonna be like hitting the ground and launching boulders at us for a lot of when we're far away from him like this. And so when you start and enter the fight, he will always kind of go through this timing of launch boulders, stand still, launch boulders, stand still, launch boulders, turn around a little bit, launch boulders, stand still. And he's gonna do this the exact same way every single time, as long as we keep our movements the same. And I've even noticed if I'm grinding the IL, if I have my exact same movements every single time, the boulders will always land in the same places, so you can predict where they're going to hit you and you can just avoid them how you feel, which is very pog. I do rate it. So yeah, Thrall is a massive pain in the butt, so let's kind of get into the fight. So again, having to quit my grapple, so I kind of grab onto this side wall here, and luckily Thrall's going to shout at us when he's about to launch some boulders. Oh yeah, and if I move for camera, it's gonna like... Thanks, bud.
Nice.
And that's what happens when you get hit by a boulder.
Yes, yeah, I wanted to show that to everyone real quick as well. It's very important. Yeah.
And something to note, every time the boulders, Thrall slaps the ground for some boulders, the seedlings on the roots will fall. And as Uzu was mentioning earlier, if you do a certain movement set, you can have all of those seedlings fall and not have to manually grapple. It's still a bit random, but you can influence it a little bit.
Yeah.
As Uzu is zooming in here, Yeah, so Thrall has breakable points, and anywhere that glows purple is a destructible thing from the seedlings, and we haven't seen it yet, but Thrall has lasers. It's glowing a bluish purple. We're going
Bluish
with
purple.
that. And those hitboxes are fairly generous, and you can miss them by an entire seedling width and still hit the anklet. On the same token, you can be the same distance away from that bell, and it will hit the bell instead of the anklet.
So, looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, so we're gonna... Yeah. We're gonna take a quick few minute break here while we get this sorted out. So sorry about that, folks. We'll be back in just a few. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are ready to get right back into it with How to Train a Speedrunner and Pray to the Gods. I'll give it right over to all of you.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. My bandwidth just did a pop shove it, and yeah, now we're here. So yeah, we're just explaining before how you break off pieces of armor and how like things glow and stuff. So I'm gonna like continue with doing that real quick. So Thrall's just gonna eat some boulders at us. And during like this specific cycle, I kind of want to get to this bowl, so then I can aim up here. So I'm looking at my bigger screen at the moment. I'm aiming for a very specific spot here, so I can like knock out both his drum and the pillar, so I can grapple onto that later. So we just got a perfect shot there. Very nice.
Nice.
So I'm going to break off the pieces of armor that you usually would first in the IL. Or in like if you really wanted to go zoom time, and then we're just gonna break off like additional pieces just to kind of show you, you know, what I mean by like you can just break off so much more. And he can actually break off pieces of armor by himself. So this is all we need to fight Thrall, really. But you see that like dangly thing on his like neck? That's also breakable, and that's really like if you're like casually playing or you really want to start like doing the basics of Thrall's speedrun, then we break this, and it requires like a few like seed shots as well to break. And I think I remember like the old runs actually like utilizing like the dangly thing by breaking that as like a safety net.
It was because I didn't know how to do this boss.
There's also times where you'll accidentally break it because any glowing part of Thrall, the actual hitbox of, hey, seedling shoots, it can now destroy this, is significantly larger than the visual indicator you have.
It's very large.
And you can see like how the aim is completely strafing. Yeah, that's just like a PS4 like controller thing. And this is Thrall's other attack. So he's gonna use like his disco lights on his head and shoot us with some laser beams. And that's gonna make stalactites fall. And that's gonna happen on a few bosses. And if I'm underneath one of them falling rocks, I will get stunned, hit, bad things will happen. And you can just kind of get looped by that, unfortunately, like semi-looped if they keep like whacking you down like that. So now that we have like enough pieces of armor off, and I even have like the backup of his like neck dangly thing, we can actually just go ahead and go onto Thrall. So again, there's multiple different ways of climbing onto him, and he's going to do a variety of different attacks. So he can whack you with his arm as well. So he can whack you with either arm. Every time he makes like a physical attack with his body, things will fall from the ground. And that's just not great. So one thing we can do, if I go into photo mode again, yeah, photo mode as well like keeps like the old settings that you use, so it's kind of like great. So I can actually climb up his hoof there and then get to his leg sigil. And if you notice, there's like some like sparkly ember things coming off of his hand. That's also another bell, and there's like a grapple thing there. I could grapple onto here, and then I could grapple onto his waist, his waistband, or jump onto his leg. There's like another like spring mechanism thing. I can go onto his arm. You can do this boss however you want, but there's always like the fastest way, and I'm gonna kind of do a bootleg fast way. So again, he's doing physical attack, and of course the quickest way to move about the boss without getting trolled too much by his like movements and stuff is to just slow-mo grapple, because your slow-mo also is slow-mo for them. So I'm going to grapple onto here, and I think we mentioned like cycle bell ringing before in the run, where it's just like if a boss is in a certain animation, instead of having the shake animation after you ring that first bell, they will either continue doing a different animation or do an animation, pause animation, etc., which will let you ring the bell multiple times in a row, 2 to 3 times. Again, a bell has up to 3 rings, and this is something we can do on his kind of hand sigil here. So I can get to the bell, put my, get ready to ring the bell, and I'll just hold it. You might see me hold it for varying amounts of time. So sometimes he'll do the animation we want him to do straight away, other times he'll shake, other times he'll just, kind of move around, do whatever he wants to do. So we actually kind of use like an audio cue, I guess, or even a visual cue, depends whatever your cup of tea is. And that allows us to ring this bell on his on his hand, just twice in a row. It's like a fairly lenient timing, like it's nothing precise at all. So I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna hold square. Just hold it, just stand here, have some fun.
And part of the reason Usu had the pause there is because this is a very time-sensitive thing. A lot of the bosses are on a time cycle. Yeah.
They're very tight time cycle. And Thrall, if you want to do the IL, you have to just bam, 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 one after the other. Perfect timing, perfect landing, and etc. So you may have noticed, hey, why did you just let go of his hand? I thought you were ringing the bell. Good question. So we go back into, oh my goodness gracious me. So I'm in the process of sliding off, and you can actually hear the slide off sound effect in photo mode, which is a bit annoying. Has it stopped? I don't know. So we're going to slide off Thrall's hand in order to hopefully glide over to his leg. So he's going to be shaking his entire upper body right now, and in the IL, if we can actually drop off the hand, glide straight onto that bell, land on straight onto the bell, we can actually ring it 3 times in a row with perfect, and I mean perfect, within second window timing. If not, it can ring the bell twice. Even just getting on from hand to the leg is completely fine. Sometimes I miss the jump, admittedly, but that do be how it is, and hopefully I can just get it right here despite the pause. And sometimes he'll knock you out as well.
Nice.
So his hand can slap you in midair. The fastest way to usually like climb up a boss, you can like jump climb, but that also consumes a lot of stamina. So jump climbing is a lot better if you need to just climb a short distance. Whereas just normally climbing is like better if you just need to go like a long way. So we didn't get like cycle rings like we did on the hand, for example, but this is fine, we're still on him. One thing to note as well, so his leg that he's shaking right here, so he had more armor on it like earlier, and his leg armor actually requires like 3 blasts to break, and usually in the IL you only need to break it off twice. But if you only break it off twice, you don't break off the bottom bit. So if I were to miss the jump, for example, and I landed on the floor, I can't get back onto his leg from the ground because there's like still a bit of armor in the way. So by breaking the entire bit of leg armor, I have like that safety net of, okay, I missed the jump from the hand to the leg, now I can just get back onto it, like jump onto his hoof from the ground and then just make my way up and then like do like, I guess, the climb of shame onto his leg. So that is how it works. Yeah. So that's this spell done? Yeah, carry on.
Something else to notice, since Usu just finished the bell there, whenever you finish a bell, you get part of your stamina kind of refunded.
And your survival stats as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so every time you completely ring a bell, you get like a health boost and stamina boost as like a reward essentially, which is very nice, and that helps us with our health, well, not really health management, it helps with our stamina management that we're going to be doing throughout the entire run. So if you think we're about to run out of stamina, then we can kill off a bell sigil, regain a bit, and then carry on from there. So I'm also going to do another thing next. So Thrall, you saw earlier, he does this kind of hand animation where he raises the arm like this, gives you the death stare, and then shoots some lasers at you. And I'll ring the bell, and he'll continue doing the raise up arm animation for a certain point till he lowers it back down like that. So if I ring the bell and then just stand up and jump, go into slow time and grapple onto like his back pillars, I can just smoothly and easily like traverse, like instead of having to climb all the way up his arm and stuff, I can just very easily, make my way straight to his back and stop like faffing around. It's a good time. So let's see if I can do this here. So that you can shake, which is completely fine. And again, if I were to fall during any of this and I needed to get back up, I can get up onto his like chin, I can get back up onto here. So he just yelled, I can jump up, hold X, hopefully get that, and there we go.
Nice.
So I'm on him safely. I'm going to wait out a shake. He's shaking very, very violently. And one thing to note, when a boss shakes at you, you can very, very, very easily like lose your footing completely. Hello, sir. So lucky he's doing the beam attacks. So if he were to shake right now, there's no telling like where exactly I'll fall down to. So sometimes if he shakes his entire torso, I could fall off him, sometimes I could be safe, which is why if you're on his back like this, it's always nice if he just shoots you with lasers, because that means, usually casually you're supposed to go down into this kind of, down into his chest, open the door, jump onto the dangly thing from his neck, go back up his, onto his head. Thrall's got a lot of things going on for him, which is, great for him, good times. So he's just kind of wandering around. So he's gonna do a shake, so I'm just gonna grab onto this and be extra safe. Because you can see, his head's very small and I need to somehow, don't do that, don't you dare do that. Yeah, he also does that sometimes as well, which is very mean. Absolutely baited, for real. Which is also a good thing that we can break off the dangly thing. If I completely miss that jump, I can grab that and then kind of semi-recover. So now I'm just on the head and it's kind of like a rinse and repeat. Just ring the bell, hold on. There's nothing too much going on.
Something important to note, if you hit the knob inside of Thrall, that opens up the gateway to this particular bell. If you fall off, you have to hit it again.
Yeah.
That is and so that it is quite a nuisance of very important not to fall off at this particular point.
Yeah. I mean, at any point we don't want to fall off really, because it's just the amount of recovery you need to do. But falling off the head or the back especially, it's basically you just kiss your run goodbye at that point. Like, it's gone. Lost. Reduced to atoms.
And we're doing a safe strat here, waiting for the entire shaking animation and so forth. Slightly riskier, but it is faster, is while Thrall is doing this head banging motion, as Thrall whips his head back, you let go and fly off onto here.
Bro.
Ooh, that was a nice one.
Ooh.
That it went good, then it did not go good. But that's just Thrall. Yeah.
But a more casual routing here of Thrall will shoot off pieces of armor and
And that's a grapple hook at the back of his arm as well. So if you ever fall off his arm, you can just grab back onto it like that. Oh, don't shoot me. That's rude. And yeah, he's kind of moving his arm up and down. Kind of dangerous. There's another cool thing you can do. I got cycle ring. Nice. I think. I know, look kind of sus. Hopefully I got the timing right.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Thank goodness. And this is actually Thrall's last bell sigil, so he's going to be down and out. So Thrall's now dead to the world, and then we're going to Alt F4, totally using mouse and keyboard, and PC right now, totally using Alt F4, and then we're going to go back up. So we're skipping the entirety of, like, the death cutscene, and then the cutscene of us being brought back to, like, the hub temple.
yeah, there's a NPC that we're going to interact with later, but we would have
The best
seen,
NPC.
we would have seen by this point, because all these, you have the death cutscene of the boss, and then you have a separate cutscene for getting back to the hub. And something happens, it's like progression of the game. And then once we get back into the hub, we'll be able to see how the roots in the hub itself have started to grow. And we're not at the significant point yet. One more boss, and then that opens up a routing option for the rest of the run.
And you notice, so I killed a boss, so Thrall's icon on the wall has gone, but Worm's just like still here like, hey, hello, I'm next, come get me.
Please come.
But we're gonna,
Please come get me.
yeah, please, like, ooh, what if you rang my bells? Haha, just kidding, unless. And we're just going to ignore Devourer / Worm until last. He's the easiest, so we don't need to like worry about him. And yeah, every time we kill a boss, it gets a bit more glowy in here. It's like a bit of a rave, actually. So yeah, the environment in here is going to change every time we kill a boss. It doesn't matter which order we kill them in. It's just going to do the same thing, and it's actually going to play like the same Return to Hub world, and like cutscene as well, which we always skip. So we're actually going to Krogon now, which is the 6th boss in the game, and he is just basically like a big burby boy. My stamina like ran out just as I grappled that.
Yeah, another fun note about grappling is while you're grappling midair throughout that entire process, if you are starting to recover your stamina in the meanwhile, your stamina will recover for the entire flight period of the grapple, but stop once you reach your destination.
Do you think we can actually get a glimpse of like the champion as well from up here?
I think so.
So we actually have to avoid this guy's attacks as we go down. So, hello, you're gonna spawn in? So he's gonna spawn in as we lower ourselves down. So that's a champion arena. They're like mini bosses. There's 3 of them throughout the game. And so we need to fly this way to get to Krogon. There's like a shortcut. We just kind of go straight in his direction to his mountain. And however, when we glide down here, the champion's just gonna be like, hey, yo, what you did? There he is.
There he is.
So he's gonna try and like hit us with some like magic power, and the wind is windy. It do be heckin' windy. I am slowing down. You can hear like some boss music going on, and I'm scared for my life. Run out of stamina. You hear like some horns and stuff as well. He's very menacing. He never comes out of his arena, but every single time like he needs to get to Krogon, we have to pass by his arena. Luckily, when we go to Thrall, like we miss like the point in which he spawns in and sees us. But unfortunately, as the quickest shortcut to Krogon, we have to go past this mini boss. So we can kind of be like, hey, what's going on? And then leave him for the rest of the run. So it's kind of cool that you can actually see like a bunch of stuff in the overworld, like as you're like traversing through. And there's going to be a lot of just a gliding, grappling. You're going to see some like endemic life as well. All that cool stuff. And it's preferable if we can glide down from like a higher height, so that means we can actually, you know, get as much like air momentum as possible. Because if I were to jump off like a smaller rock, then I would fall down to the ground and have to keep, you know, run, grapple, run, grapple, run, grapple. So yeah, the movement in here is very, very... And you can also slide off rocks as well, which is totally what I definitely wanted. They do be heckin' slippery though, they really do. And sometimes the grapple hook, as you saw, can just not work, like, at all. And yeah, things like this, even though you think you can get on it, you really can't. The game will slide you off. And this is actually, like, a major problem in, like, the last boss, for example, where it's just rock after rock after, hey, you like rocks? So do I. And it's just... We'll get to him, don't you worry. So we just kind of get to Krogon. So that's kind of like a pathway to him, so we just have to like follow it. There's really nothing too much going on other than just optimized movement. Obviously, if I was doing like a proper run, I'd probably be a bit more like conscious of where I was going. But the one thing else to note about the grapple as well, it's easier to aim at things that are like higher. So it's easier to aim at like a cliff face than it is to aim at something like right in front of you, like, you know, like a level floor, for example, which we will have to do in like Boar's Fight, which is the chronological like third boss. So yeah, we can actually like get like a max like grapple range as well, so we can like really like fly through.
Thankfully, Crow and Thrall are just the longest traversal bosses, so after this it'll be quite a bit quicker.
Yeah, so this is like Krogon's door. We could do like a puzzle to get here, but we can just kind of go the other way, which is also what we want to do for the speed one. So again, the devs have like different intended ways of getting onto like the bosses, and they also like purposely put on some like air vents and high places, so that instead of like having to do Krogon's entire like puzzle, which involves like having a bow and arrow, which we totally don't have, having a bow and arrow, shooting him, stuff like that, we can just avoid everything like that altogether. And you literally cannot grapple things that are like point blank. So if you fall off a boss and you try to grapple back on, but you're right like next to it, you just wasted your like slow down time, buddy, and it is like not fun. Yeah, and stamina management as well. So aiming on like controller and stuff is like hard, but considering like I don't play FPS games either, and I'm really bad at them, like aiming the grapple is just such a pain in the butt, and it's not fun. The game is fun, but it's also not fun. Yeah, it has its days. It has its days. Yeah. So again, you can just grapple on. You can like be really risky, so you can glide around if you really wanted to, and just, you know, grapple, bam, bam, bam. You can take shortcuts, or you can be really safe. It depends, like, what you're comfortable with. I'm actually going to head straight into Krogon, so if you guys want to start off explaining Krogon.
Yeah. So, for Krogon, so, an interesting point about the cutscenes at play. They happen in-game, so if we were to let that cutscene rock, Krogon would be in a completely different position. Krogon has 4 bells that we need to ring. He has 1 on each wing, and 1 on the tail, 1 on the belly. This is an alternative route. We're going up this statue's arm here, and we're going to glide down on the Krogon. And I don't know if Usu
I think I'm gonna miss timing. Yeah, it's fine. Just like Yu-Gi-Oh, we're missing timing, Saj.
Yeah, so in order to get like the fastest cycle, you basically have to very, very quickly grapple to this finger, and as soon as you get to it, you're able to jump off, and you'll be perfect timing to just land right on the wing for Krogon.
Yeah, so Krogon's just like gonna do his like arena cycle. So Krogon always flies in the arena at the same speed, does the same animations. He's basically looping himself around the arena at all times, which is really good for us. So it means there's no RNG with his movements. And to be honest, I don't really do any stunt, I do Echo Rush, so this is a completely different like setup to what I'm used to. So you just kind of, excuse me, you have to like wing it. So I'm just gonna like drop and hope I land on him. Or land like near him. Whoops. Hello. Ah, that's good. I can just show you the backup strat.
Yep,
Wonderful. What I
backup,
always
let's
intend.
go.
Oh, look, is that an air vent? Oh, wonderful.
How could be?
Anyway, yeah. So there are also air vents scattered around Krogon's arena. So if you came through the other door, for example, you can just like make your way to this air vent and just go back up to the finger, which is really, really neat. And you can also, like, if Krogon flies past you as well as you're, like, floating up like this, so you can actually grab onto, like, his belly sigil as well, which is, like, super neat. So don't want stamina.
And when we get to it, Krogon has 2 different AIs that we're going to use for a particular exploit. So Krogon has an AI of, hey, there's no player on me. So Krogon does this figure 8 around the arena. And as you'll see, once Usu lands on Krogon,
Yay! We did it. First
Nice.
try.
nice.
We'll go to his wing, actually, to, like, show it off as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Buddy?
And so now the player's on Krogon, the Krogon has a slightly different AI, and we're going to exploit this when we're doing the wing sigils. And
Yeah, and you also notice I'm going to be moving my camera a lot during this fight as Krogon's moving, like, her wings and stuff. And that's because you can only really grab onto, like, a boss's fur if your camera is actually looking at the fur, which sucks because, you know, if your camera's not in the right position and you hold grab, you will not grab, you will fall, and it's not a pleasant time.
Yeah, the camera is very powerful in this game.
Yeah, it's like, camera's, like, really OP. This is like the bell, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold X, hold, ring bell, hold circle for my life. Then I'm gonna tap X, hold back on, and that basically reset Krogon's AI to think that I'm not actually gonna ring his bell and that he doesn't need to flap me off. So he just does you just rang the bell flap, and then because I let go, he's no longer thinking, I have to flap again because you're going to ring my bell again. So we just completely trick his AI there, which is super neat. It saves a decent like chunk of seconds as well.
About like 3 seconds per wing.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see like him flapping his wings is just so time consuming. And we completely avoid all this climbing kerfuffle in the IL where you get yeeted a lot, you're flying through the air a lot. It's a really like cool IL. It's probably like my favorite in the game. It's like it's a world record by Judge. Oh, gotta be careful here.
Yeah, he has every single IL right now.
Yeah, Judge, if you haven't checked him out, Judge Manchester, who also makes tutorials for this game as well, absolutely incredible runner, and just makes fantastic tutorials as well. I'm also kind of doing this thing right now where, because I'm grabbing on and it thinks I'm like completely vertical on a grab, I'm gonna be shaking vigorously, and I mean like vigorously, and I'm not gonna be able to like regain my footing properly either, which is like painful.
this is a very good example of why we want certain cycles with Krogon, because when we go to belly, you can strike the belly bell 3 times, without much of a issue. But if you get a cycle like this, you kind of just have to dangle and accept that you're not striking the belly yet.
Yeah, your stamina's gone.
Yeah, so luckily he's turning, so I can strike these. And again, I'm gonna regain my stamina when I completely destroy the sigil. If I completely destroy the sigil, Crow, please, honey, my love, thank you.
You should be fine.
So yeah, Gray's just gonna level out. Unfortunately, like, when a boss battle goes wrong, it does take you so much time to recover. So there we go, Sigil's down. So now hopefully when Crow levels himself out, we can just get back to business. And again, I kind of want my camera to be, you know, facing onwards, like this. And yeah, his belly, again, like certain points of it, I'd say I blame the polygons really, but certain parts of his belly think that I'm actually like not in the direction I should be. So it's gonna like try and make me like fall off and stuff. So I have to be super careful. So what I could do is I could drop down to his wing, because assuming if I knew which flying cycle he was on, I could just, you know, safely drop down, because he doesn't fly like this. When he turns like this, not around, he just turns in midair like that. So as he's turning, you could just drop to where you need to be, instead of if you turn like that, you drop and he just kind of whoo around you. So that's what we do in the IL as well. We kind of utilize that cool thing. So going to the other wing, assuming this is definitely the wing I need to get, because I wasn't keeping track. Yeah,
I believe you're
big brain.
You're on the right way.
Big.
Yep.
I'm actually on the right wing, huh? Fun. So again, I'm gonna, even though I'm low on stamina, it should be enough to like keep me safe.
Yeah, you got enough.
Part of the reason we run on easy, every time the boss shakes, so that's like a difference between easy and legendary. Every time the boss shakes, stamina depletion on easy, practically non-existent. Legendary, it will consume it.
Legendary is just like a vacuum cleaner of like your soul. It will like, everything will like one-shot you pretty much. Your stamina depletes quick, like you die to health and stuff, like a lot of things. So what I can actually do is, if I really wanted to, I could just purposely fall off, which I think it's hard to tell with this flying cycle because it needs to be leveled down. Yeah, should be all good. Look, is that a grapple hook?
Don't even need it.
I just landed
what a
here.
G.
Look. Okay. What a homie, he's actually helping me out this time, buddy. This is last sigil, it's gonna be on his tail, and luckily this is the easiest to kill off. He's not gonna shake us much. And yeah, these are like by far like the worst two bosses now out the way. At least the worst two optional bosses. Just an Alt F4 real quick, don't mind me.
And since we now have a total of 3 bosses defeated, we're finally going to see the hub world change. That, for if y'all notice that Brawl and Krogon are on like the left side whenever we left the hub, and the reason we haven't gone right is for 2 major reasons. Reason number 1, there's no significant difficult boss besides Dreki, but also instead of going out the front door, we're going to use some of the routes in the hub to get to the top and use that as our travel mechanism to any boss on the right side.
I still haven't actually done this. I need to.
Yeah. So usually like you make your way out the temple and kind of go around to go where you need to go. So I'm going to go to boss number 4 next rather than 5, because 4 is slightly harder than 5. My personal preference is to get the hardest out of the way first. So again, Devour is just like, yeah, pick me. I'm just like, nah, it's all good. So I'm gonna go to Dreki, and he's all the way on the opposite side of the hub world. So what I can do is I can just kind of grapple here, and then grapple up here, and just make my way over the top of the temple, so that I don't have to worry about like having to like exit and go around the long way so much. So if I just go up, so I can stand up, should auto stand, there we go. Grapple onto here, back up, there we go, perfect. And then go on these rocks. And now I'm also super high up, which is like great, it's where we want to be. And I kind of want to glide to a rock in this general direction. Let's go. A lot of things are just like, hey, I need to go in this general direction, so let's just, you know, wing it, literally. And again, my stamina's gonna deplete quite fast, so I'm gonna get to where I need to go, like, just in the nick of time. So if I can land on this ledge, that'd be great. There we go, perfect stuff. So, It's a bit too far away. So grapple onto here. And he keeps grappling up. And that is the shortest route to get to Dreki, which is literally just right around the corner from us as well, which is really, really neat. And I really hate this hill because you feel like you can't grapple it when you really can. So, the grapple's so, like, funny. You never know exactly, like, how out of reach it's gonna be until it's completely out of reach.
Yeah, it just takes using it over and over again to figure out the exact range. Once you use it a whole bunch, you get used to it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's slightly difficult to kind of get a handle of that is because grapple has a range, we're just going to call it X, and it's, if that's at a straight line, but if you go up, that's, you kind of have to big of a circle or sphere around yourself of, this is what I can and cannot. So.
Yeah. This is like the entry puzzle into Dreki's Arena. Some bosses will have like an entry puzzle, some you just walk in and like they just appear, which is cool. And it tries to introduce you to different mechanics. So I think Dreki is the first one that introduces air vents, for example. So it literally makes you like utilize an air vent for like the sake of the boss puzzle, which I think is like a really like cool way of getting you into like the game mechanics and how like the fight's gonna like proceed. Like some bosses do that, other ones like they don't give you like a single idea of what's gonna happen. And you can see there's a bunch of like markings on the wall. That's like Dreki, like a painting of Dreki. Isn't he cute? Very handsome boy.
Kind of hints telling you how to kill the boss. Kind of.
Okay. So you don't grab the 2-star bow right before this? And 2 arrows?
Nah, I'm not gonna do that strat. It's more of like a advanced-ish strat because it requires you like getting like an arrow shot first try. I'll explain what that means in a little moment. So Dreki is probably one of the coolest looking bosses in the entire game. He's just a very long boy. Now, kind of like behind me is a bow with like a few arrows, and what we need to do is activate air vents so that we can get onto Dreki's back. And we can activate air vents by attacking them with our grapple, which we have been doing the entire run, a sword or a melee weapon, or with a bow and arrow. And the way kind of bow and arrow like works in this game is how to explain it. So there's like different levels of like weapons and armor, and like the higher the level, the better they are. So if I have a level 1 bow, like it's not even a crosshair, it's just a radius of where the arrow might like land. It's like this big, and the wind affects it. It's not like it's not easy to aim, it's not easy to shoot. It's a nightmare, it doesn't focus. A level 2 bow and arrow is a bit better. You can just kind of maybe like aim where it needs to be. At level 3 is just like as close as you can get to a crosshair. And usually like the IL, what you would do is like you try to like hit certain cycles again. So what I'm gonna do is like a drop down. So usually like you just glide, like straight up glide through his like rings, but you can just drop down like here and save some time and just go straight down into his arena as quick as possible. And Dreki's gonna shoot some fireballs at us. So a lot of the bosses have like an attack or a projectile attack. Krogon actually had a projectile attack, but we never saw it because I was never on the ground. So once we get past a certain trigger, Dreki's going to start attacking us with fire, and so we're just going to like avoid that. And every certain amount of time, Dreki's going to like continue attacking us like that. So what you want to do is you want to come up here and hopefully not get hit with the iceberg. That does happen a lot. It does get in the way. Sometimes you go to grapple something, if something else is in your way, you will just like straight up not be able to hit it, which is really frustrating. And I got a wind change right there as well, so I hit the iceberg, which is really unfortunate. When in doubt, blame the wind. Always. Oh, I lost my run to wind, not poor gameplay, never.
Hey, that's my motto.
So you just like activate these. It seems what you do intended. But speedrun wise, you just want to activate them as soon as possible, get perfect Dreki like attack cycles so that, you know, he attacks the last one straight away. So the last one is actually like encased in ice, which is why we need his breath attack. And this is some water. Hello swimming mechanics, let's go. Shout out to swimming. So we need Dreki to break these. Now ideally what you'd want to do is like by the time he was shooting those fireballs, like we would have wanted him to like be able to aim for this, break the ice, then we just head on to the second phase. And what we were mentioning about the bow and arrow, let's see if photo mode's gonna be nice. Yes, so what we usually use the bow and arrow for, if you want to be like judge and get like the perfect like world record for the IL, is you can actually just about hit that like mechanical thing back there with an arrow, the switch. Yes, words escape from my brain. Yeah, so if you aim at like a very, very precise point, you can hit that switch, but you don't really have much time to kind of hit it. And also Drecky's like flying here, there, and everywhere up there, and you want to be really tight on your cycles. So usually, you know, don't stress about that. You just activate them as quick as you can, unless you were like going for like proper top cycles. I'm sure like Judge is like happily like explaining it to people who are in chat right now.
Oh yeah.
Doing the Lord's work. So Drecky will always roar when he's about to attack, which is super nice of him. So we can actually predict what he's gonna do. And a lot of the bosses are actually gonna do that as well. So I'm gonna hit this. And it's gonna activate like one of these light show things. Drecky doesn't like it, so we're gonna skip the cutscene. And look, an air vent, how convenient. So I wanna get into like the center platform. And we want to jump onto Drecky, so how on earth are we going to get up to Drecky and actually land on him? Easy stuff. Well, should be easy. If I let go at a specific point, I should land on his bell, or close to his bell. There we go. Literally just like, if I was like a couple inches like off too much, I would have probably fallen off. So Drecky's way of getting us off is just, he's just rolling. He just rolls in midair. And that's it. That's all he does. He just rolls and roars and rolls and rolls. So Drecky has 4 bell sigils on him, and each one's pretty much rinse and repeat. There's not too much going on during his fight. There's a lot of like really risky strats he can do if you wanted to like recreate his like IL, in which again he has grapple points all over his body. So if I really wanted to go to like a grapple lower down on him, I could let go, jump off in the air, and then pull out my grapple and grapple onto one of his grapple spots, and huzzah, everyone's happy. However, like, the safety of that method is like, it's an IL like strat for a reason currently, until we kind of suss out Drecky's like animations and shakes. So even though he's like, all he's doing is twisting and turning, he has different kinds of twists and turns he can do, which affect like him differently. So when he rolls like that as well, I will stumble, which kind of sucks. And we don't just have to hold on to him either. We can actually like roll on him, which is kind of funny, which hopefully I can get to show off as well. So bell's ringing. You can also get like a double cycle on the bell as well, but that's kind of random. You're gonna have to hope that Drecky's giving you a good cycle, and sometimes he will just turn and turn and turn like all over again. And again, this is like gonna be one of those fights where if you fall off, it is a massive just oof time loss. He's also flying above water. Oh, I didn't get a full bell ring. There we go. Save it. So Drecky is also flying above water, and now a good thing about running easy is that you don't die in cold water. If I were in like legendary mode, for example, cold water would kill me. So if I fell off Drecky and fell into cold water, game over. I am toast, or rather cold frozen toast. Yeah, so that's like sigil 2 down, so we can just kind of crack on with this fight.
And
so
now
hopefully don't slide off.
And now Drecky is enraged after the second one, so Drecky will roar more, twist a bit more, all of that loveliness.
Nice.
Showing here, as long as you're oriented where on top, you can run across Drecky and not have much of an issue. It is a little risky, but enough practice, it becomes that.
Yeah, so you see like the spikes on Drecky's body. So if I were to run across him like I just did like a second earlier, and I were to like face plant into one of them spikes, I would just probably fall off like back onto the floor or the water, and it just would not be fun. So that's why running is really risky. You kind of have to know Drecky's body a bit better before like you risk doing a strat like that, because even though like it's like completely safe to run across him or even walk across him during his rolls, yeah, like if you just hit a spike, it's like game over.
And something else.
2 cycle?
Double cycle, nice.
Oh, that's nice, yeah. And something else of note, we start at the head and then go down towards the tail, because when Drecky flies about the arena, Drecky tends to fly in a slightly upward motion, and in this game, it is significantly easier to traverse downward slopes than upward slopes.
Mm-hmm. So we're kind of using like gravity to our advantage here. So again, I'm gonna kind of barrel roll my way. Oi.
Nice.
There we go. Safe. Again, there's nothing here. So I just want to get onto that tail, but that tail's gonna be difficult to get to. So I need to careful. Woohoo!
You're good.
That's like perfect tail movement right there.
Yep.
Just want to say. Or near perfect. It would have been perfect if I got all the way to the bell first, but that's still fine. And the fun thing about Drecky, so even though I have all this stamina, if Drecky really wanted to, he could just roar, and roll over and over to the point where I have no stamina left and I can fall off and like die, and it's just not fun. Like Drecky's like shake RNG is beyond dangerous sometimes, especially on this last like sigil, because if you lose your footing, that's it. There's like nothing to grapple on. And now yeah, Drecky's down. Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm just Alt F4 real quick.
Just rage quit the game real quick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so angry. Yeah, no, I'm not so angry anymore. Let's go back to the game.
And now is when should be where the NPC is now chilling about.
I don't. It's after. I think after
I think one more.
6 defeated bosses, or 5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah.
I can't remember. I don't do any percent too often enough.
I don't know. Sometimes he's just there, and sometimes,
Yeah, whenever he feels like it, he
whenever
appears.
he gets there.
So we've done boss number 4, so we're actually going to go somewhat chronological and fight boss number 5. Because boss number 5 is in a same direction as Drecky, just a little bit further. And boss number 5 is like fairly like simple in comparison to everyone else as far as like base mechanics go. Like there's a lot more going on, like if you wanted like the top IL times of course, but like in general, like there's nothing too much going on. Also like glowing plasma pool party, let's go. And again, Devourer really wants to be like beaten, but we're gonna leave him till last. Like I'm sorry buddy, like just doing a big rejection right now. So again, I'm gonna kind of utilize this like that I can climb up here as well. Sometimes I do worry if I grab something like at a sharp angle, because you can get jutted off if you grapple onto something. Like the game will kind of throw you off because it thinks, well, there's a jagged edge here, therefore you shouldn't be able to like grapple and hold on to it. So I'm just gonna like knock you off, and that's like a possibility every time you like get a funny grapple. It's not fun. And yeah, so there's 8. Again, there's 8 bosses in the game. Boss number 1 and 8, they have to be fought in like their mandatory order, but bosses 2 to 7 we can fight in any order that we want. So we're just gonna go to boss number 5 and just pay him some respects. And again, I can just glide comfortably rather than have to go like out the temple door, like around some pillars and stuff. And it should be like very smooth sailing. And luckily, if we're lucky, like the weather conditions will be nice as well. Hopefully don't slide down here. Yeah, you can actually slide off this cliff face as well, and just completely like fall into the abyss. But the abyss down there isn't actually like the abyss. You just have to climb all the way back up, which would take like minutes upon minutes. So we usually try to go in like as many like straight lines as possible, but obviously if I'm gliding down like this or hit a tree for example, I'm gonna have to like start zigzagging or moving around. So again, we're using height to our advantage. We want to be high up. It's best for us like to be high up, because that means if we need to glide down, gliding is pretty fast. It's faster than running, so we want to glide down to where Yeti, well, closer to where Yeti will be, which is, again, the 5th boss. And also the reason why we're kind of climbing these cliff faces as well is because there is going to be, like, a rave spawn above, like, the pathway to Yeti, and it is a big, like, trigger radius for rave as well. So if the wind's on our side and, like, we just get, like, a perfect glide, we can hopefully avoid, like, triggering the rave, which I'll just leave a faith right here. Gonna go ahead and hold straight. Luckily the wind's kind of behind us, so we're gonna go straight over, like, any kind of ground trigger. And you can kind of hear whispers in the air, that's raves. And we avoided all of them, which is good, because if the wind, like, goes against you, for example, as you can see the wind just changed right now, you can sometimes just fall straight down to the floor, and then you have, I think it's 2 raves in that area actually. Like, there are red raves and there are, like, grey ones, and the red ones are, like, really aggy for, like, no good reason.
I think they do a bit more damage too.
Yeah, they are just super angry, like, all the time. It's, like, super mean. And yeah, so Yeti's actually, like, really coming up nice and close. You also can eat some, like, berries. So this is like a health restorative, also hunger restorative, in which if I were to lose some health, I can just eat some stuff and then my health goes back up. It's a fun time. So if you, like, need to pick up some stuff, like, during, like, practice runs or whatever, you can. Like, there's so many things, like, in the route that can help you. And there's some things in the temple actually, like, stamina restorative seeds and stuff. But yeah, at this level we shouldn't need to, like, be picking them up. I'm actually going to come into Yeti's arena right now, so if anyone wants to start explaining Yeti for me as I hug this wall.
So Yeti is, I mean, he used to be kind of hard for me, but now he's pretty easy. So you kind of just, you see that there's a big statue thing in the middle of the arena, and we're going to grapple up to it while holding and hugging the right hand wall there, and that hopefully will get him to trigger the swipe animation, which it looks like I did. And just going to be right on the arm. It's that simple.
And if we were fast enough... Oh, no. Okay. If you're fast enough, you can get a strike as the fist hits the ground, and then another one before this shape. But it's something you should always go for, but if you don't get it, it's okay. Yeah, Yeti likes to try to smack you like a poor ant.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, so luckily I got the pause just as I rang the bell, so he's not gonna swat me. So, what you would usually do in, like, a casual Yeti, so again, the game assumes you kind of picked up a bow and arrow at this point somewhere. So Yeti's eyes are kind of glowing this infatuating orange, hello there, and and there's also, like, lore notes and stuff that you can pick up which kind of hint towards, hey, you should probably shoot this guy in the eye, because that will hurt him and weaken him and make you able to grab onto him and stuff. So yeah, when Yeti's about to attack, his eyes will glow and you can shoot him in the eye with a bow and arrow, or even in, I think it's like the 1.0 patch, you can actually grapple his eye.
I think you can still do it. It's just you have to be really close.
Yeah, which then you stun him and he stays stunned for, like, a set amount of time. Now, when I'm on Yeti's arm like this, he can also do, like, he can either shake or he can just kind of essentially, and even on, like, easy story mode, which I take the least amount of damage, him going like this is a one shot, let me tell you. And he can choose between doing that or just shaking, and it is a nightmare. And also because I don't have bow and arrow, if I were to fall off, like, getting back onto Yeti is, like, it's just, like, a kind of a no-no. At that point, you kind of, like, hop out the game, reset, and then you have an autosave outside of Yeti's, like, arena, I do believe, and then you just, like, go back into that, back into the fight, yeah. So yeah, like, luckily I can kind of get you, like, a good view of, like, his arm as well, so let's hold on for dear life. So he's gonna shake after every bell ring as well. That's just what Yeti does. And he also has, like, these kind of grapple hook spots on his back. So hopefully, when you stop shaking, big boy, we can grapple onto you, buddy. There we go. Even though there's like high up things we can grapple, like it's kind of weird. Like if we were to like have to like go onto like those broken like stone towers over there, like it's still very, very hard to get onto Yeti. I'm kind of being safe here, I guess. I'm just climbing up him on his shoulder. If I really wanted to, I could jump back into slow-mo mode and then like grapple, I guess, onto him, and he's gonna do the arm thing. So I'm gonna like, oh, I'm safe now anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, you see like he just like smushed his like arm there with his hand. Even if you're on his shoulder, he will still like hit you and possibly kill you. So I didn't need to grapple there after all, which is pretty neat. So what you're doing is basically go from arm, head, other arm. So he's only got 3 like bells you need to ring, which is pretty cool, So there you go, that's the second one. Yeah, it's like very like bread and butter really on like easy mode like this. It's just don't get spotted, don't fall off. Like once like you've done, I guess, the first 2, the third one should be a piece of cake, as long as like you don't slide off and fall, which has happened to me before, because again, like rocks are very slippery and it's very cold and icy. And Yeti, sometimes he'll want to shake right away, sometimes he'll want to do some steps. So again, he's wanting to shake, he's really wanting to shake, my boy, my buddy. And it's kind of random where I'll fall during the shakes, so if I can just... So usually at this point, he would want to swat me like a fly. If I can... Oh god. Oh.
I don't know how you got that, but I'm glad you did.
Me too, bud. Me too. So Yeti's not actually like... Okay, he's gonna continue shaking.
No, he's not gonna swat. Wow.
That's surprising. Usually he like shakes, swat, shakes, squats, shakes, squat. So hopefully I have enough stamina now, enough timing. There we go, should be fine. It's pretty like heart-wrenching. I remember playing this casually, and Yaoi was like my worst enemy. He just kept slapping me about, because funny thing, in like one of the like original trailers for this game, you see like an early version of Yeti, and that's something I saw way back when I was in college. And when I came to buy this game and play it for the first ever time, I thought, oh, he's putting his hand above me, he's gonna pick me up and grab me. And then he just kind of killed me, and I was just kind of there like, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Yeah.
I just wanted to, you know, ring all your bells and potentially kill you, I guess.
Yeah, there's nothing personal, kid. Yeah, so we actually have like 3 bosses left now, and they are like very simple. Like, well, I say the next 2 are simple. The last one is he's a boss that exists, and he has like mini bosses, and it's not a good time. It's straight up not a good time. But don't worry, we'll get
a little bit more of a good time with the new strats.
Yes, so we are working on like movement and stuff. Well, those guys are. I'm just like running the game and like finding things by accident sometimes. Like personally, I'm not like a glitch hunter or anything. I just do what other people find, and I'm just like, it's mine now. Gang.
I did it.
It's like the glitch hunters for the most part are me and Judge, and sometimes we'll have some random people come in and be like, hey, there's this glitch.
Sometimes I find one, I'm like, yo, hey, this is happening, we need to do this.
Yeah, like
the worm the IL strat we found. That was wild.
Is NPC present, or is it one more?
One more.
It's one more. No friend. Don't worry, we have like the best friend ever. The real like MVP of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
But part of the boss order we do as well, while it is flexible and so forth, doing it in this order has a nice, because these bosses are not very stressful in comparison to the rest of the run. So it's a really nice breather moment in the run that, you know, gather yourself and pretty much go through at this point the auto-scroller bosses.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and Boar and Worm are especially like auto-scroller is, that's basically the perfect definition. Like, you can't shorten their cycles, so you have to do X amount to be able to get onto them or whatever, and you have to do X amount of like rings, and they will always do X amount of like shakes, and there's nothing you can really do about them. And it kind of sucks. And again, I'm just out of range of like Giga Chad champion over there, so that's pretty bug. And again, I won. Just Giga champion.
You
And,
can definitely
yeah.
risk the champion. Like, you can dodge the
Yeah.
majority of the champion's moves and get through it faster, but this is just a safer route. Don't have to worry
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, if I really wanted to, I could just cut through like the champion's like entire arena, which is right there. But I really don't want to. I'd rather like go slow-mo around these cliffs because it's just so much like safer for me.
You sure
you can
getting
hear, like,
beamed
the
out of the
boss
sky
music.
would be good content, though.
What if we got like murked out the sky?
Exactly.
Oh, out of the sky, you hit a ledge, and ragdoll physics in this game allow you to clip through the ground.
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
Oh yeah, I just saw someone's message. There is actually like a speedrun Discord. It's a very tiny Discord, Emerald. It's just like 5 of us just like dancing around like a campfire, like
Yep.
like monkeys, to be honest. But yes, if you go onto like the SRC page for Praey for the Gods, there will be a link to the Discord in that. If anyone is curious and wants to join, we'll be happy
Yeah.
to have you. It's a party up in there.
That door can kill you, just FYI. Don't get stuck. in it. Oh my god.
Also, for anybody watching the VOD, it'll be in the description on YouTube.
Thank you.
I was gonna do that in Defiance as like a meme, and I didn't realize the door actually came down that quick. During my
yeah, it comes
first
down
ever,
quick.
during my first ever playthrough, I just kind of stood under there, like, what happens if I just stay here? And then I died, and I was like, reset back to hub.
Poor Tic Tac has got squished by that about 5 different times.
My homie, Patch.
And now we're in Boar Cave, and we have to do this little weight puzzle, kind of, because right now the door is shut, and there's a nice big old button for us to stand on, and that lifts the gate. But as you see, the weight on the right goes up, and there'll be another one coming down on the left, and we have to go on that into the gate. And say hello to the definition of an auto-scroller in this game.
Yeah, Boar is like boring. Like Boar is like he'd really do be like that. He like really do. So I can just skip this cutscene because nothing really is gonna happen. He's gonna kind of be like brought up, and this is Boar. Everyone say hello. He's going to scream at me, and then things are gonna fall from the ceiling. So what I want to do is there are these like switches around the outside the arena, and I'm going in a very specific order because I hate this fight so much. So I'm gonna be here. Let go. Thank you very much, honey. Though he really doesn't like these symbols, so Boar is going to do what any angry pig does and charge at you for no reason. Great stuff. So Boar has 4 sigils, 4 bells, one on his head, which is covered in a dome that you need to break by having him smash his head into all the walls. On his belly, leg, and shoulder. So we'll get to that in just a minute. So we have to go for the belly first. And we're gonna do something like kinda semi-precise. So I'm gonna go to his belly here. I'm gonna ring 1 time. As soon as I ring this bell, he is gonna start standing up. Gonna let go straight away. Wait 1 second. Hello there. And run up.
Nice.
Just run up. What if we
Oh, so close.
Oh,
hang on, what if we swag strat? So back up strat. If I
Swag strat.
maybe grab onto him. What and no, I'm not gonna get it. Sad times. This is fine. I can just
So-
get it a different way.
to explain what happened right there, so your movement controls is based on your camera. And so normally, in order to leap back off of a wall or something, you have to hold back and jump, and you'll jump off of the wall. If your camera is at a weird angle, holding back registers as like going left sometimes.
Yeah, it's the worst.
So you have to make sure your camera is right behind your character when you go for a leap. And so that's why there's a lot of camera control that Usu is doing to make sure, or try to avoid it as much as possible. But sometimes it's going to happen. Whether you want it to happen or not.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do that again, you know, just try to recover my
Redemption.
mistake. Redemption arc, Pog. 1, 2, 3. Let's go, buddy, pal, old pal, friend,
That's
friend.
it, that's it.
No, it's not.
Damn.
And yes, big heck and shakies. And the fun thing about Boar, let's see if I can go into photo mode and just get some like Miyazaki Dark Souls feet content right here. These are his like
Cool.
his feetsies. If you are underneath his foot, you will die. You will die, and you don't get reset at the start of the fight. Oh no, you get reset at the start of the cave, so you have to do that weight puzzle again. And it's just I don't know why they did that, but it's like
So
devs, please.
well, no,
Devs,
that
hello?
technical reasoning is that caves are a separate part of the world. So the overworld is one place, the caves are a different place
Technically a
entirely.
different instance, yeah.
And so even though Boar is in this cave, you can't start at the start because it's in a cave. So speaking of devs, No Matter Studios is the dev team of this, and they're a three-man team. We have Parnell, who's fantastic. Tim, all of them are fantastic devs. So it's Parnell, Tim, and Chin, I believe. And
Yeah.
So,
on there is a regular just Pray for the Gods Discord that's not speedrun, and if you have some form of technical issue going on or so forth, you can get in contact, and they're typically really fast and will help you out with whatever issue you may have when it comes to the tech side of things.
So, I don't remember if I said this before. So this game, it was in like development for 7 or 8 years, and it was funded by a Kickstarter as well. No Matter Studios is literally, as Fuzzle said, 3 guys, 3 entire dudes that made this game from the ground up. Literally just. And that's completely insane. It's a miracle that a game like this is even out. Because the sheer scale and magnitude and the amount of... I know a lot of people complain, oh, there's this little glitch and amount of bounds. I hate this game. Oh, it crashed on PS5 and now I'm never going to play it again. Stuff like that. And it's just like, give this game a break. It was made by 3 people. You and 2 of your friends try and make a game this big and like tell me how it goes. Like,
no, yeah, I have so much respect
Yeah.
for those dudes, man.
yeah. Like, so yeah, shout outs to the devs. They did an incredible job. And honestly, like, I love this game. Like, I bought it on release. Like, I realized it came out and I was like, wait, this game's actually coming out? And I was at work and I tried to download it straight to my PS4 from my phone via like internet. I was like that excited. I was like that hype. Yeah, I love the devs. Anyway, so what I just did, so on the 3rd kind of time that Boar is going to hit the wall, he will hit the wall and he won't kind of be stunned on his back. He's going to get up straight away. So what we do as he's getting up straight away is there's like a bell on like his shoulder that we're going to get to because, you know, we can't get to his belly because he's getting up straight away. So we just get to the shoulder and we can actually do some cycle ringing as well. So if I just make my way up here. I'm gonna shake a bit, it's completely fine. So I'm gonna hopefully ring these bells. Here's one. Hold square, release square, tappy. You can squeal. And I'm in a wall, that's not good.
Oh please,
Uh-oh.
what?
Oh no.
So, as mentioned before, cutscenes happen in
Oh,
real
no.
time,
Oh dear.
and we lost.
We lost time. This is why Boar sucks. It's like getting, even though Boar is an auto-scroller, getting a good Boar is a complete blessing. Because Boar is just trial, tribulation after trial and tribulation. You get one thing wrong and Boar just falls apart and you have to do another entire cycle to get him right. So now we're just gonna have to like keep getting him to like hit these walls. But hopefully if I'm quick enough, I'll grapple up here. That looks kind of sussy bucker there, but okay, fine, fair enough. I jump down, hello friend. There we go. Oh, hello. Okay.
Nice.
And he's turning
No
around,
cycles,
I should
but
be able to get onto his head. He's gonna shake, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm not actually sure if you're in like a position like me where you've completely missed like every IL cycle ever because Boar is like a meanie. you can either like jump off and then, you know, get him to hit a wall again so he's stunned, or you could like traverse across his body as you would like casually and like just ring his bells that way. But now that Boar's kind of enraged, he shakes like a lot, and I mean he shakes a lot. So we're just gonna make our way to like the wall again, and bearing in mind we've still got one ring on the shoulder and his entire like leg to ring as well. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna like stand here. He's gonna get zoomies. One thing you can kind of do in IL that's kind of like half theory, half true is if I had like a bow and arrow, I could shoot him with a bow with like the bow and arrow, and like he will like be slightly more aggro, so that he's more likely to like charge at me rather than do like another lap of zoomie. So I'm gonna get his charge in. Very nice. Good job, buddy. So now I can hopefully just run up his leg. Hello.
Perfect.
Get 1, get 2, get 3. No, I can't get 3rd, it's fine.
Honestly, it looked like even that back hoof might even be easier to walk on from what you just did.
Yeah, so when he's completely flat on the floor like that, his hoof is far easier to walk on, and you just won't slide off, because that's the game, like, that's the intended way of getting onto his back leg, really. It's the most intended way, really. So devs, I think, purposely made it easier, and if I really wanted to, I could kind of grab, or kind of traverse along his back, so that I can get onto his shoulder sigil if I don't get knocked off. Again, I want my camera facing the fur, and physics exist. Thanks, game. Appreciate that. Remember? And because Boar's in rage mode, some bosses have rage mode where they just act more erratically and angrily. I mean, understandable. Oh, hello. It's like me at work when there are too many orders on screen and I just go into rage mode and start acting erratically. Anyway. So, trying to get to the sigil, and you can just see like the amount of like shaking, the camera's shaking, Boar's shaking, everyone's just straight up not having a good time. Yeah, so. And it's like, if I like get him to charge the wall as well, he'll actually be lying onto his shoulder, which is like kinda mean. So yeah, I'm just gonna like have to like get him to charge in again, it's fine.
Yeah, unfortunately going forward on the body's a little harder than going backward.
Yeah, because there's like a segment of the body where it's like, he's not covered completely in fur. There's like a bit of like rock separating the two, so you can't go from shoulder to leg. You have to kind of, the game wants you to like kind of go across like his back rocks, which kind of sucks, but you know, it's completely fine. So yeah, he's gonna do the zoomies right now. Again, if we get a bow and arrow, we could shoot him to try and make him a bit more angry and come at us a bit quicker. But he's just McVibing over here.
He's just having a good time.
Just galloping in the arena. Like, I rate it. Completely. So hopefully he's ready to come charge at us. There we go. So as soon as he lowers his head, we're safe to roll out. And I just want your last bell. So I'm just kind of have to wait here a whole like few seconds. Yep. Gamer,
yeah.
Real gamer moment right here.
If you miss a cycle on Boar, it kind of becomes a little bit of a pain, but if you're on the right cycles, it's pretty quick and easy.
Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Also, if like you flick between the grapple hook like over and over, it looks like she's scratching her back, and I just find that mildly entertaining. Yeah. So finally Boar's down, and this is a perfect example of why we really dislike Boar as a community. It's an auto-scroller, but if you mess up one thing, it makes the auto-scroller even longer, which is super unfortunate.
Yeah, it's like a guaranteed 4 minutes, basically.
Yeah. And the IL isn't like, there's not really too much going on, it's just you have to optimize your movement, you have to hit those like cycles in, you have to land on the head, all that jazz. Yeah, Boar is just, he's not a fun guy. And we actually get to meet our NPC friend. Is everyone ready? Is everyone ready for the good boy? So I have a question for everyone here. Does everyone here like dogs? You're like dogs, right? Okay.
Dogs are a pretty
Hear me out.
fantastic animal.
What about wolves? You're like wolves, just like primitive dogs.
Primitive dogs.
I mean, yeah.
Hey, look at him! Look at
that.
dude! Yeah.
He's a
So
good pupper.
he heckin' good
And
pup.
this
You
is
know
the
what I
best
can do to
category in
this
the game.
dog? You know what I could do to this dog? What if? No, there can't be. What if we press like circle to interact? Yeah. So this is also why we skip the death cutscenes, because this is the wolf that drags you back to the hub world, and so we kind of skip all his animations of the wolf just kind of like dragging you by like your neck just like back into the pool. And at first the wolf is like, you know, normal wolf size, and then like the more bosses you fight, the bigger he gets, and now he's like full sized. At first he's angry with us, and now he's like pretty happy. He's pretty boy, and we can just pet the doggo. There we go.
Pet doggo percent
You
complete.
can give him a little cuddle, little cuddle. There we go. So there's actually a category in this game called Pet Doggo Percent, and it's the best category, like hands down. And in that category, again, because we can choose which bosses that we do in any order, we always do the quickest bosses, and then we pet the doggo like straight away. It's great.
AKA you always skip thrall.
Yeah. Yeah, full is a bad boy. But yeah, that's the most important thing of the game. And you see how like you see like how
Poor word.
Devourer has been waiting all this time to be beaten. Now he will be beaten. Look at him. He's just been glowing this entire time since we came into like the main world, and now we actually get to fight Worm. And he is like the most like dull, boring fight in the entire game. Yeah. Like at least in like Echo Rush, there's like a bit more interesting stuff going on and like setups, and like there's a bit of variety. But in any percent, you literally just skip puzzle down, like, and then it's gone, and then it's fine. So again, coming up here because I don't know, I think it's faster, and I'm just gonna muck glide my way down here.
And so we're going, Devourer boss we're going to, kind of an auto-scroller. If you get lucky with wind, you can hit the top one first, and then you can do very fancy shenanigans, but for the most part, normal luck is you're gonna land on the bottom one and then climb your way up. This is a very nice, chill boss fight before, Big Al makes his appearance.
Yeah, like it's gonna be like very cozy. So everyone get like your blankets and hot chockies out. We're gonna like get real cozy for Devourer right now. Just the last like bit of like stress-free game running. So usually, casually, there's like a pathway like over there where you kind of go down there all the way through those hills. And you kind of come through that entrance over there. And this is like Devourer or Worm's arena. I call him Worm because there's a beta colossi from Shadow Colossus called Worm, and it looks very similar to this guy. So yeah, this is his arena. He's just how do I say this in a way? He's just there. He's just there. He just
He just
I can't
exists.
say it, but he just exists in this pool of water, and he just stands there and does nothing but shoot you. And usually what you're supposed to do is you can kind of see this entire arena. There's some like platforms and stuff there as well. You see that like monolith on the iceberg all the way back there? That's like one of them like light up sigil things as well. And usually you like activate like all like the technology, like mechanical stuff around this arena, then you activate that. Worm kind of flops down. He's like, oh, I'm not feeling too good, Chief. And then you kind of climb up onto him. However, we're just going to skip all the running around this arena, all the dodging of his, like, plasma bullets and stuff. Like, so what I'm going to do is from this point, I'm just going to, in this general direction, wind's not going to be too much of an issue. Need his stamina, because when we enter a cutscene in the game, it's going to completely restore our stamina. So we're going to skip this cutscene as well.
We're also not falling in this cutscene, so we're still just... It freezes your
Just
position.
floating.
Yeah, it's really convenient.
So sometimes depending on the wind as well, like the speed of the wind, etc., you can actually land on this bell, you can land higher. And I just got like common wind, I guess, so it's nothing like too outgoing. So I had to like climb up a bit, but ideally you'd want like a wind like behind you so that you can get like straight onto here. And every time we ring the bell, Worm's gonna shake, and that's it. Like, there's no like tricking Worm into thinking we're on a different part of his body, because Worm only has one shake animation, and when Worm shakes his entire body, so we just have to like grin and bear it, unfortunately. Yeah, he do be one heckin' shaky boy though. Have to be careful with stamina here, because Worm just also shakes for no reason, just like now. He'll do like long shake animations, sometimes short ones. I'm gonna see if I can reach that upper ledge before my stamina runs out.
It'd be pretty close. Should be good.
IDK, kind of sus. Oh, kind of sus.
Jump at the end.
Oh. Oh.
Okay, no.
Oh, hello, Worm gone wrong? Okay, interesting. Okay, I can actually show off. No, actually, I can't show it off, can I?
You can still get back on. There's a grapple point.
Yeah, if hello, good sir. Do you mind if I grapple you in this fine moment? I've never ever fallen off Worm in any sense setting, even when I like did my first run, because usually you don't fall off Worm. So there's
He doesn't start doing attacks
right
until you're close.
Well, you have to go to one of the things in the water there in order to get high enough.
He's just gonna like shoot me at the same time. So yeah, more swimming. Fun. So Worm's like projectile attacks are also gonna stop breaking things around me, so I need to be careful that he's not gonna, I guess, break what I need to get up on. And that's what happens when we get hit as well, ragdoll physics. And when I mean ragdoll physics, I mean big ragdoll physics. Wait this out. Okay, hit me anyway, that's fine, bud. You do you.
So this is more of a casual experience.
Yeah, the classic gaming experience. And how does that have that radius? I don't
It's
understand.
got a big AoE.
Yeah. Damn, son. It's just a thick AoE though. Hello?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to like grapple from there. That's unfortunate.
Nah, I might need to.
And because we like don't have a bow and arrow either, like we can't really do anything. Usually if he does like a massive like charge attack, oh, frame rate, hello, nice to meet you. So occasionally like, he'll do like a massive charge attack in which you can use your bow and arrow and like shoot him in the mouth, and he'll just like collapse in like pain and stuff. However, well, we don't have a bow and arrow, do we? So we can't do that. So we have to just like do the puzzle, which is unfortunate, but frame rate, would you like to behave? Oh, that's nasty.
We are now.
If I die in this fight, it's not a big deal either. It just is what it is. And that's just why I'm doing like a different attack as well. You can actually like grapple onto him if you're close enough, because he's rotating across the entire arena. Yeah, the grapple again is just not like good enough. Intended percent, let's go.
Intended.
But yeah, like Worm just like also like locks onto you with like his beams. They are insanely accurate.
It might. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so like all the other like projectiles in the game, like they're really forgiving. Like you saw when we were on Thrall, for example, even though Thrall had 3 projectiles that were shooting at us at any given time, with Worm, just one repeated like missile, it's doing damage, and it's like the most dangerous like projectile in the game, basically. It's really not a fun time. You're really not a fun guy. Exactly, yeah, rub it in my face, bud. Even when things are going wrong, you just still gotta look at the bright side, be optimistic. Be like, hey, it could be worse. Could have had like a worse Thrall, a worse boss, whatever. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
And normally when things are going this bad, it's probably back to the cliff and attempt to sail down. if you still want to continue the run. And
Yeah.
if it's going this bad, it's honestly reset.
Yeah, like, you never do this in 80% ever. Like, this is like, you need to like rethink your life, which I'm going to do after this stream. I'm just gonna like lay in bed and be like, some things need to change.
Yeah, but this is the Limp Devour that we were discussing earlier and never should have seen, but here we are.
And also, like, if you're like too close to Devourer's mouth, then he will just, there's like a damage hitbox in his mouth and it will hit you and it will also like kill you as well.
Is there
I found
really?
out. Yes. So
Wow.
in my casual playthrough, like, I climbed on him and I was like way too close to his mouth, and as he kind of like rose up, like, I think a bit of his mouth touched me and I just died. I just full on like died.
Interesting. I did not know that.
So
Yeah.
some speedrunning history of this. There used to be a glitch in this game, and the trick was called the McSlider, and we would enter Devourer from above. And when I mean above, we glided into this one, and all the hip or dome, all the boss ones that are not in a cave or a giant dome arena. So you can clearly glide above it, enter down, and that was a risk when doing Devourer, because if you landed dead center in the mouth, Devourer's mouth would
dead.
close around you. Yeah, you're just dead.
Nice.
But and another, while we're doing the bells here and all that, at one
I'm just gonna
point
regame his stuff. Yeah.
we had another glitch called Skybox glitch that got patched out and unfortunately not in the game. It would have, you know, we have to traverse to all these, and Skybox glitch, the way how it worked is that you used to be able to save during the loading screen. So you would just make a manual save, load that manual save.
Not again, buddy.
Please no.
There you go. You got it.
There we go. Back from the bottom, so it's completely fine. But I just need to be careful with my stamina. So yeah, we have like plenty of time for like Fuzzles and Tactic to just like discuss like the beta like glitches and stuff. So just carry on.
Yeah, so the Skybox glitch of you did a manual save at any point in the game, load that save. While the game is loading, create a save in the loading screen, load that save, and the game doesn't know where to put you, because when the game does a loading initially, there is a sky point that it uses and then goes to the coordinates of where you are and puts your character there. But in a loading screen, those are your coordinates. So you are way above the clouds to the point of you could just glide to all the bosses, and that's what we used to do.
It was phenomenal.
Currently, we have something similar to a Skybox glitch, but it's the opposite. We call it a hell glitch. So yeah. So Devourer defeated. Woo!
Yeah, I'm
We're
gonna
dead.
rage quit, legitimate rage quit out that, and like, go back into the game. Oh, thank goodness. That was painful to do, especially on a
good. You
live
got it.
stream. Everything's fine. Everything's completely
It happens. It's all
Anyway, like, there's a cat. It's
Yeah,
a cat.
but
yeah,
chat's eating up the
makes
cat right
everything
now,
better.
so you're fine.
Yeah, legit. Just if I can just squeeze him. If I have the right angle, there we go. Got him. We can pet the cat later if we have like time. I have like a cat treat in my like desk drawer just in case. You know, you always need one handy.
I think we can make time for that.
We can make time for cat. Yeah, we made time to pet the dog. We can make time to pet the cat.
Exactly.
Animals are very important.
Very, very
But
important.
yeah, this
Love
game
all
used
your
to be
animals.
like, yeah, love the animals. Yeah, this game used to be very like glitchy mess back in like its beta version. So yeah, they patched a lot of it for the later game, not because like they wanted to hurt speedrunners, it's because the glitches that the speedruns used to have back in beta version would genuinely affect casual players in a negative way, so they had no choice but to fix it. Because like the skybox glitch, for example, was like you're in a save, you overlay a save by saving, and you just like plaster saves on top of each other, and that confuses the game, and it just throws you in the sky or something like that. I never played the beta. Everyone else played the beta. I didn't. So I just assume that's how it works. But because of like it's a save glitch, they had to patch it because there was genuine trouble of people saving the game. So unfortunately, we don't get like really cool, like any like out of bounds like cool like massive glitches. You know, this isn't, you know, Wind Waker, unfortunately, even though we do kind of have like an item slide-ish thing, which is the muck sliding.
Nothing that we know of yet. I mean, there's always potential for somebody to find something.
Yeah, again, this is also an indie game, so like the chances of like some weird code being there or exploit are significantly higher than one being found in like a AAA game. But again, it's just like we need more pairs of eyes to be there to find stuff.
Exactly.
Because obviously, you know, the more people you have like running a game, the more things that will get found a lot quicker. That's just how it goes. A lot of things we find are also on like complete accident, which is just so we've defeated 7 bosses, so we need to kind of progress the game to like its final state. So after each boss, the temple kind of changes, and now we've reached kind of its apex. So these are kind of like spirits of the bosses or something like that. They're just kind of here.
This is the boys waiting for Bean.
Just me and the boys at 3 AM waiting for beans, and you see that like the beans, legitimately just beans like flowering up over there. Very, very, very good. So this is like the point of no return, really. Once you go into the last boss, that's it. The whole world's just gonna go up in flames, and I mean that quite literally. So we'll just interact with this and get on with the show. And we can skip this intro cutscene as well. And this boss is he's a boss. He's a boss that exists, and
he does.
Yeah. And it's not just one boss either, it's a multitude of bosses. And I guess we can let the cutscene play as like we kind of explain what's going on. So this is some strange ritual happening, spoiler alert. And if you guys ever played like Drakengard and got like ending E, there's a giant baby that reminds me of Drakengard. I don't know, it just does, and it has like really off-putting vibes. So now like the world's up in flames, and that's Big Al up there. That's our last boss. Everyone say hi to Big Al. And that's Fen. He's pretty angry. Goodbye, Fen. He helps out. So those are fire giants, and we have to fight 3 of them in order to kind of like get to Big Al, which is like kind of annoying. So yeah, it's like technically like 4 boss fights really, even though it's only technically 1 boss. It's just like mini bosses in the boss fight, even though they're not mini, they're like huge.
And so we get reintroduced of what Thrall was trying to prepare us for. So each of these giants is going to have 3 points that we need to shoot down. They're not all available at once. So the one on the chest appears first, we shoot that. The other one on the shoulder, and then one on the head.
Bro, that missed.
So apparently.
Yeah. And we get the big slam attacks that can be quite a nuisance.
Yeah.
And after every giant we defeat, there's going to be a cutscene, and then we're going to have to traverse them. The first one we're going to do normally, and then the second one is just something you have to be, honestly.
Yeah. You have to see it to believe it. So I mentioned how there are 3 giants we have to defeat, right? Right? Oh, just kidding. We only need to defeat 2 of them. We can get a second one to just kill itself, and it is the chef's kiss. It is fantastic.
When it works, it's very nice.
Yeah, when it decides to actually work. So, as you can see, they've got like 3 different like things on them that need to be destroyed, and their laser beams are the same as like our flower ammunition. Literally the same thing. They do the same animation and whatnot, and they can actually destroy their own armor, similar to what Thrall was doing to himself when we were fighting Thrall all the way in the beginning. They can destroy their own like weak spots with their own laser beams, and we can actually I'm not sure how it works. I don't think anyone knows how it works.
I'll do the technical.
You can just kind of trick the second giant into hitting its weak spots by just standing and doing nothing. And
yeah, so for some reason he's able to target you through the walls. So after we kill this one, he'll be targeting us and constantly shooting a wall that's directly next to him, which the splash damage is enough to break his own armor. You just have to kind of place yourself in certain heights to get him to break each one, essentially. Kind of random, but we're trying to figure it out.
Well, no, we've got it consistent now. So,
do we? Because
yes,
pretty inconsistent for me.
Discuss about that later. But so right now, the second giant is aggroed onto us. We haven't seen the second giant.
We don't need to.
But you could hear the second giant doing attacks in the background.
Yeah. No matter where we are on this map, the second giant will always attack us. He'll slam his fist down in our direction. He'll shoot lasers in our direction. Like, he can see through walls. It's pretty insane. And we're just gonna be like, hey, cool. I'm just gonna, like, I don't know, stand
go
here for a bit.
Visit Big Baby real quick.
Yeah, visit, like, Drakengard reference right here. And then just chill.
And then we listen to an audio cue because we don't want the wind-up before this. We want anything but the wind-up.
We get to enjoy some, like, tentacles.
Judge legitimately just stood here today in his run.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything else.
Yeah. So when, like, Judge, like, got his, like, IL record for this, he just kind of stood here and, like, waited. I've stood here and waited before and it worked. There we go.
Yeah.
Hello.
There we go. Nice.
There you go. He did.
He has
And the great
committed
thing
unalive.
is, you commit uninstall life. So yeah, he's gone. And luckily, the way the game checkpoints is it's gonna bring us forward to where this second fire giant is. So we're gonna teleport right in front of his hand where we need to be. And the second giant is actually the hardest giant to fight in like this entire out of the three, basically.
Such a hard angle to shoot.
Yeah, so not only are you shooting at a hard angle, he is attacking you rapid fire. And this entire time, Big Al up there is also like shooting you with like plasma fireballs. Really not a vibe. Yeah, you guys just got hit by like Al's meteor. This is fine. Fine, this is normal. Hello, this is... I would like the ground to stop shaking, thank you.
And to go on with
There
the
you
more technical... so the weak points are always present, but they're not necessarily vulnerable to like the ceiling shots. So when you destroy one, the other one just comes to the surface of the skin. So the head one is always there, and the game only checks, hey, is the head weak point destroyed? If yes, alright, giant defeated. That's the only thing it cares about. And so the splash from the wall, because the second giant was monkeying on the wall, and it's just a very nice thing for us. And then kind of doing third giant casually. There's not... You could do better movement and all the things here, but there's no real exploit or glitch for this section.
You just have to like aim your shots and hopefully you do it between like the correct shooting cycles. So the other two giants, they can either shoot or slam their fist at you. And when they slam their fist, they kind of move their entire body. So say if one had a weak point on its head and it moved its entire body, a shot can just go straight past it, which is like pretty awful. Luckily this third giant does none of that, he just shoots you. He does like move as he shoots, which is a little bit annoying, like right now for example. He is just gonna move, like his torso about.
I honestly didn't know you could roll cancel those. I thought you just had to shoot them.
No, you can roll cancel.
I didn't know that.
People, you can have world
The more
record and
you
not
know.
know too much.
Yeah. Hopefully that is. There we go.
Yeah, so there is a chance. Sometimes the ceilings just despawn mid-flight. I think it's a distance thing. No real explanation for that. But that's their giant down, and then now we're
Yeah.
gonna do a nice little exploit.
You tower skip. Tower skip
we're on
2.0.
Tower skip 2.0 right now.
2. Or 3.0? There's a 3.0 now, actually. Oh god.
Is there?
The one Riku does is like different to the one you made a
Yeah,
video
so
on.
it's Tower skip 2.0.
Tower skip.
So,
Right, skip.
to explain tower skip, so the game is looking for certain checkpoints to say, yes, you progressed this far in the fight and so forth. So hopping on this tentacle or root here tricks the game into thinking we're in the Aldenari fight or the Big Owl fight. We haven't triggered the Big Owl fight yet, but the game thinks we're there. So in the Big Owl fight, that, you know, because we haven't gotten to the actual flying worm portion yet, these air vents are now active. And so we're going to use these air vents. So instead of hitting multiple switches, climbing and this, climbing and all of that, we're going to take this vent and it's going to go straight up.
Yeah, so there are different air vents like scattered around, and once you like trigger like certain like point in the game, it automatically makes all the other air vents like go to that certain height as well. That's unfortunate.
You might not have enough health for this either.
But you're good.
Yeah,
There's a
this is
vent
hard.
below you.
Yeah. I'm also like low on stamina, so I want to like res that.
As long as you parachute right before you hit the ground, you'll take negligible fall damage.
Yeah, and actually, like, if you fall from, like, a great height, usually you recover, like, just enough stamina to, like, bring out your sailcloth just before you slam into the ground, which is, like, you know, nice. So hopefully... I'm also on very low health, and I have no restorative items, because I, like, just like in a run, any normal run, I could actually die here.
Yeah, you're gonna die.
If I die, it's, like,
keep dodge rolling.
fine.
Oh no,
Yeah,
this is...
We got a checkpoint at the third giant anyway,
Yeah, and you
so
should
we
be
should
full
be fine.
health, I think.
Yeah,
Or does it
unless
save
the things
your
we
health? I can't
checkpointed
remember.
later, then we should be okay.
Yeah. So we're fine. Have to go through load screen. I think the vent that for the skip 2.0 or 3.0, whatever
It's
we're
even
on at this.
easier.
So instead of going to the vent that Usu went for that one, that's just the easiest one to traverse to.
Game loading your assets, please. It's loading, don't worry. Everything's fine. There we go.
Nice, you're good.
If you like die and re-enter the fight, it takes a moment for the game to be like, oh, everything's on fire. Oh, gotcha. Right, alright, okay.
So yeah,
Yeah,
this skip is relatively difficult. We just found it a couple days ago.
Yeah. So usually another way we do it, for example, is I was gonna hit you with Meteor. So another way would be to jump off of here, grapple onto that, and then go to the vent, like, the other side. Or you could fall through this temple. There's air vent, like, right in front of us there. That can bring us to, like, a different angle on the giant. But I'm gonna try for this one again. And then if not, I can just do it, like, a different way. Just because this way you get onto the highest point in the giant. You just need to do a tiny bit of backtracking. But this way you do get to the highest point, and you're just already, you know, there conveniently, which is, like, nice. So I'm gonna make my way back down. And unfortunately, when you die and reset the checkpoint, it resets you at the health you were, you know, the health you were at the checkpoint, I guess. So I'm still on low health, and because, you know, it's an 80% run, I did not get any restorative items. So yeah, we just have to, like, grin and bear it, unfortunately. And you're not... Well, you're also definitely not supposed to, like, be doing any of this, so you're not really supposed to be walking on this guy's chains on his neck either. So the fact that I have to, like, dodge roll up a slope, which is trying to slide me down, there we go, we should be safe.
Go. Nice.
Fantastic. Yeah, so the game is also trying to push me off of this chain at the exact same time that I'm standing on the chain. So I have to be really, really careful with my movement and hope and pray that I don't. I'm trying to hit one of the... All I see is lens flare.
You go to
And
the
just to
chain
make
here,
it-
left a little bit.
And it's probably just a little
There we go.
easier.
I see him. There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah, so these
Definitely
are,
not me forgetting anything, of course not.
Make sure you scooch forward a bit.
Bro. Let me.
Perfect.
Thanks, bro. Also, like, if you were to grapple onto one of these as well, if you're too close, you won't actually like activate it. The grapple will like phase through, and we might see some of that like crap during the big owl fight as well. I almost slid off that rock as well. Like, sliding off the rocks in this fight is like a very commonplace, at least like for me.
and so
Because when you re-grab, you don't always re-grab straight away. Like, the game kind of like buffers the re-grab. I'm not quite sure. It just says no. The game just politely says no. You cannot. Do not.
and something about controls as well, and something they added. We're playing on manual climb. There is, I believe it's auto, is what it is. Where so manual is you have to manually press the climb button whenever you come across something, and the auto just anytime you interact with a climbable surface, it will just latch on for you. Which the reason why we play on manual is sometimes we don't always want to grab and we want to glide against the surface, and so it makes things a little more difficult. But lovely picture of Big Owl here.
Yeah. So the easiest way to describe like different climbing mechanics. So if you played Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian has like auto grab, where if you jump on the Trico, you don't need to grab anything. The boy will just grab on the Trico and hold on until you press X to let go, and you have to hold X to let go. Shadow Colossus, you have to hold R1. As soon as you let go of R1, you let go completely of the Colossus. And yeah, I actually run the other two games. The Last Guardian is my main speed game. Shadow's a game that I'm into more on the commentary side than the run side, because I have this baby instead, which is just, yeah, great. And anyway, so one other thing I would like to note as well, if you look at Judge Magister's world record that just recently came out, you see that air vent all the way back down there that we used earlier? So he gets up a different air vent and then falls back down after activating this particular Aldenari cutscene. So Owl is just making his way downtown, flying fast, face pass, and what Judge does is he'll glide all the way up to a height so he can grapple onto Big Owl early. And you might be wondering, is there any way we can actually like get onto Owl without fighting all the fire giants? And it's just like, to my knowledge, Owl doesn't have any, like, you can't actually grapple or stand on Owl until you defeat all three giants, like, until you hit all those triggers or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he doesn't even like trigger like the actual fight until you hit that last sigil up there.
Yeah.
I think it was possible to get onto Owl, but nothing is active, so you can't complete it. So we're forced to go through the three giants and then get on the Big Owl here and do this grapple. This is where the grapple, you can see the flaws of it. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Wish me luck. Wish me Praey.
I wish you much luck.
Great. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me go. Don't miss timing.
No,
You're good. And so on Dreki we went head to tail. On Owl we're going to do tail to head because there is so Owl has 4 bells that we need to
Alright,
ring.
I'm about to head out. Let me... Oh, thank goodness that grappled. Like, sometimes you'll go to grapple, and the grapple won't even give you, like, the grapple symbol.
The symbol disappears, and you're like,
you just
oh,
have
dear.
to hope. Yeah. So, of course, the quickest way to traverse Big Owl is, you let go and grapple, your stamina's depleting madly, and you just grapple, hook on. You stamina manage like your life dependent on it. Like, it's very, very difficult to do. I know, like, a lot of this run doesn't look very, like, I guess, outgoing. There's nothing too crazy going on. But if you've never played the game before, like, you may think that. But if anyone has ever played this game before casually, they will understand how difficult it is to control anything in this game, from simply running forward in some circumstances is difficult. Like, there's a lot of things like against you. So again, I'm gonna keep referencing Shadow Colossus because it's, again, the easiest thing to reference. So gravity in Shadow, you kind of go down, you go straight down. You let go of a Colossus in Shadow, and you can do all kinds of cool physics things because it's, you know, actually a much better developed game with, you know, a full team of developers. Again, game made by 3 people. You know, very indie game, very good game. We love this game anyway. And so the physics aren't as polished in this game, so there are things that just simply don't make sense that we just can't quite put our fingers on. Like that, brr. Weird jump, okay?
The recovery.
Yeah, and it's like having the stamina now to, like, get back. Especially as he's, like, shaking me here. Alright, bud. I see you. Let go, recover, regrab. Nice. Luckily, as Big Owl, like, kind of does his barrel rolls, you can let go and regrab once, like, you're up. You know, you can stand vertically, which is a nice touch. And you can tell when you're able to stand vertically, depending on the kind of crouching animation your character's doing. So you need to pay a lot of attention to, like, different animations. And you can always tell when Big Owl's gonna do a barrel roll, because he'll make a audio cue. There you go. So again, I'm just gonna jump down here. I gotta be really careful as to not be in, like, slow down time for too long either, especially on Owl, because once I'm grappled on, I don't know how long I have to be hanging there for. So I'm just never safe, basically, which is, like, really unfortunate, but hey ho. We move. Hello, I would like to...
Oh. And this is why the
I'm not
vents
dead,
exist.
I'm not dead.
Yep, these are the vents.
So that's, like, super unfortunate. Like, even though, like, I should have had a clear grapple, I didn't. Okay, where am I is the question.
You're on top of the temple here. Yeah.
Right, drop down there.
Okay, I can drop down here, it'll be fine. Yeet.
And so
any one of these vents we can just use to get back up, it's completely fine. Yeah, this is just where the game, like, slaps, like, its flaws at you, unfortunately, with, like, all the flaws in, like, the grapple and physics do come to light in this final boss fight, which is such a shame because the boss fight is such, like, a climactic moment. And I don't know, it's just a big shame. Anyway, we're doing, like, original tower skip now, I guess. Actually, wait, I don't have enough stamina for this one.
The tendril corner would have saved you. Yeah, just sit there.
Yeah, this is fine. So we have to try and get back on the fire giant. This will be completely fine.
well, we don't need to be fire giant, but
Yeah.
just getting back on Big Al and the vents help with that.
Hello.
You can go back to fire giant and
A little too close to the wall.
Why is
demonstration of grapple.
grapple be like, hi, will grapple, will not grapple. Fun stuff. Will it, won't it? It's like, the grapple's like a D20 in a way. Like, if you just like roll one, then you're done. It's nothing you can do, it's just like RNG-ish, almost. So hopefully I can get to section
Middle one right there.
B. There we go. I'll take this one a bit more cautious as well. So I'm just gonna mosey my way down. Make sure the camera's kind of facing Al. And I'm just gonna quietly stroll down this magma rock. Nothing too much. Like, it gets a certain point where if you start failing so much, then you really have to take it safe. Because Al is just such a punishing fight to fall off of. And these
Go on
little
the,
platforms
Go
here
on the
as
right
well.
side of the switch.
Yeah, so these little platforms as well, I can just let go and I can just glide off for no reason as well. So I just have to like hope and pray. I'm just gonna safely does it, to be honest.
The left
And
side
yeah.
of that switch is a little slippery.
Yeah. It's like you can see like the rock that the switch is on, it's not quite symmetrical. So one side will be like easier to stand on than the other as well. Obviously, if you want to go fast, you have to hope you just kind of get like that right, you know, foothold on it as well. So second bell, Big Owl has 4 bells, or 4 sigils. And it's pretty much the same as Dreki. You ring a bell and he shakes, and then you just move on to the next one, but you go from tail to head rather than head to tail, which is, you know, it's somewhat mixed up. To be honest, like, Big Owl, like, I was a tiny bit disappointed because I just felt like you already fight Dreki, a long flying snake, and this is just a long flying snake on fire. So it's make of it what it is. Okay, need to like climb up and like not die. Actually, to be honest, I'm feeling a bit risky. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Nice.
Have to again really watch our stamina. Luckily, our stamina glows like green when it recovers, so we can kind of, you know, tell, I guess, like how full it's gonna be. Big Owl's gonna do another spin attack. That's fine by me. And hopefully, as he's spinning. If you have like motion sickness, this game is going to give you like a time.
It's a little rough,
a time. Yeah, it's a little rough around the edges, yeah. Like, I hate this platform so much because it's like slip and slide. Let's hopefully getting within reach. There we go.
Nice.
Also, like if you grapple too close to the magma, sometimes like the game will put you like down into the magma and you'll start taking damage, and it's just like, bro, why? Especially because on this fight, you're very likely to be on the similar HP that I am, just from like chip damage from the boss fight and whatnot. So again, I want to make sure I'm crawling so that I know I'm grabbing on. Yeah, and like, in my personal opinion, like activating these switches is like horrible. I can be like right next to it, and then the grapple rope will just sling around it, and I'm just like, why would you do that? Why would you even make that thing? Hopefully it'll be alright today. Oh, let's go. And we're gonna see our friend again, like the best NPC in the game. Ah, yes, I love lava.
It's also important to know, your roll has iframes on it. We don't really make use of that at any point because it doesn't really help us in any significant manner besides these magma portions.
Doggo! Let's go!
Yep.
He's got
Doggo.
boots on! He's got boots. He's got like magma-proof boots.
Did PS4 get the iframe update yet or no?
I don't know. To be honest, when an update installs, I don't even look at it. I'm just like,
That's
okay.
fair. I know the PC has it now.
Yeah, and even though your roll has iframes on it, it doesn't protect you from instant death.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. So, good boy here, hanging on by his mouth and taking us to the last bell.
What a heckin' good boy. Right. So some, like, Wolf's, like, hitbox is also really weird. Like, you can be bounced off him and whatnot, kind of like I just did, whoops, for no reason. Like, sometimes you think you're grabbing on when you're not as well. And if you try and go from like down his muzzle onto the bell, you can slide. It's just a bunch of different bad things can happen all at once. And yeah, this is the last bell we need to ring on Owl at least. But we're gonna do the same thing. Yeah, so this is the last boss actually dead. Let's go, Cog. And we're gonna like Alt F4 our way out.
One final time.
Oh wait. The last Alt F4.
And then at any percent, once that final bell is ring, that is when time is called.
Yeah, so it's not like the final input of the game, because you have to like sit through a bit of a cutscene, and then you just ring a bell, and then the credits roll. But I did say, like, we do have time for some Echo Rush stuff, so Echo Rush is like boss rush, so it's going to be in an NG plus file, and we're going to have a bunch of different tools at our disposal that I didn't have for any of this 80% stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and load up. Actually, no, I'm going to show off like
Yeah, might as well show
the rest of the game, yeah. Just like show you how it works so we can say goodbye to like the big boy, the big doggo. So one final goodbye. Alright, game load. Yeah, again, like PS4, no SSD, I have to deal with like normal hard drive load times.
Y-
I don't
Yeah,
actually know
okay.
the time difference between SSD and hard drive though. Someone want
Probably
to time it?
probably not too much of a difference, but enough
Yeah.
to be annoying.
Yeah. But it's not like at a point where you'd have to like, cause I'm the only PS4 runner and I'm completely fine on PS4. There's no need to like separate the leaderboard or anything from like PC, console or nothing like that. There's also just not enough of us to like make a separation, you know, a good choice. Like it's nice like being on like a leaderboard with other people. And this is
Yeah,
where we say goodbye to Dog. Bye bye. Bye bye, Doggo.
Thanks for
It's
that.
nice seeing you. Thanks for the pets, I guess. So he's going into like the spirit realm, and this is where you would call time on any percent. So the pool's dried up, and you can finally ring the bell and like release the ritual or whatever the hell's going on in lore right now.
Yeah, the way I interpret it is kind of just the reverse of Shadows, where instead of like releasing a demon, you release a god? Question mark? I don't know. That's how I interpret it. I don't know.
You're like cleansing this land of
Yeah.
because part of the lore is that you're not the first person to come across this land and do this. You're just the only successful one. So,
But yeah, right as you hit that last bell, that's when any percent timing ends.
Yeah.
and now we're in the desert for some reason.
Yeah, Lou, is this the start of Journey? Hello?
Is this Phalanx's arena?
Is that one of Phalanx's like magnetic ring things? Yo?
So yeah,
Comments?
the cutscene doesn't count for time. It would have been called at the strike. Portal. Here we are.
So Journey, glitchless, white robe, let's go. Just kidding. So I'm just waiting until I can, you know, go into like my NG plus file now so I can show you, hopefully, fingers crossed, be able to show off like some different things. So any percent, it's not exactly the most beginner friendly. So Echo Rush, if you've obviously played the game all the way through, go into NG plus file, which will happen automatically after you watch the credits. Those are the free developers, by the way. Literally 3 entire dudes in the studio. Like mad, absolutely mad. So I'm just gonna skip everything and hopefully just load up NG plus in a hot minute. I'm pretty sure I could just quit out and like go back in, but I don't know what's faster. I don't very
Yeah, it's
often have
open.
to watch credits. Yeah. So yeah, anything else you guys want to say before I like pop into like an Echo Rush about like
Only other thing would be like once you do pop out of this after the credits, just make sure you show your stats page just for extra verification, easy stuff.
So even just casually going through it, if you go to the stats page and so forth, it will tell you the times of all the bosses, like how long it took you, and like what difficulty. So that's really nice. This is like if you're going to submit a run for this game, this is just good verification of yes, you did everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and it
very
checks
much
out.
appreciate it when verifying.
Yeah. So one thing to note, so this game is verified in R tier only. So this is technically IGT, but the IGT does not count for like when you die and stuff, and we don't quite know how the IGT works. So if there was a way in which we could use this final time on the stats page of an 80% as like a proper IGT, that would be very pog, but we just cannot, so we have to unfortunately go
Yeah.
off of RTA.
We
But
need the
it's
devs to
fine.
update it.
Yeah. Devs. But yeah, you can see like this is like makes everything easy to verify as well. Like the times aren't great because I was like explaining things, but that's how it do be. So we're automatically put into an NG plus file, and we have the same stats, equipment, etc. as we did in our 80% file that we just completed. However, so Echo Rush is like you can have maxed out stats for Echo Rush. Let me just not settings, load game. Manual save. So I'm gonna boot up my actual like Echo Rush save file, to which I've gathered all 60 totems. I've defeated champions, so I've got nice bow, some nice arrows, got a nice sword, nice grappling hook, and most importantly, I have maximum stamina. And so maximum stamina is double the amount of stamina that you have, base game. So, and I also have some upgraded armor. So look at my stamina bar. It's like hecking chunky. This is a bow, so it's a level 3 bow, so I can like aim, and every time I like move, it makes it like harder to aim as well. So that's a bow mechanic. Yeah, and you can see like the amount of stamina I would have for Echo Rush if I were to go into any other boss fight. It's such a big safety net. Just the amount of stamina I have is phenomenal, which also allows me to do like riskier strats and different strats. But it's just collecting all 60 totems. So I know in Shadow, every time you defeat a Colossus, your health and stamina go up accordingly. This is like different. Every boss you defeat, like everything will stay the same. So I think we said we do stay tier, worm, skip boss, skip Dreki, skip Yeti, do Krogon, and then try and do like an IL for all if we get lucky. So like rewinding the clock a bit. So I don't know who's been watching this all the way through, but when we were fighting Satyr is like the tutorial boss that we have to fight. And back in the tutorial bit, we didn't have the sailcloth. We did not have like our glider, so we had to fight him in like a different way to get onto him. However, because in Echo Rush you keep all your items, all your stats, because I have the sailcloth right now, when I boot up Satyr's fight, I will have a sailcloth and I'm able to utilize it to my advantage to get the fight done like way quicker in like an IL setting. But yeah, IL is actually pretty like it's not a fun time because Satyr's IL relies on wind physics. It do be hecking windy though. It really do.
It really do.
Yeah, and also requires on like perfect timing. And remember how I said like physics are kind of like unpolished? So imagine like if I'm on Satyr's neck and he like rises like this and I'm just on his neck, I will ping off like 50 miles that way. Like there's nothing I can do. I just ping off into distance and it just sucks. Another thing to note about Echo Rush as well, so we played Shadow again. If you're in a boss rush, you can just hit start, retry, and then like retry the fight at any point. But despite being in an Echo Rush, all I have is exit Echo mode, which will put me back into the main world, and then I have to manually go back to the statue, Praey, load back into the IL, and it's just like it's not a vibe.
Pardon, please put retry button. I need it.
Please, Parnell, I just want to retry. Thank you. So yeah, we're going back to like Satyr, so we just need to activate him again. And then we also have a timer that's very handy in Echo Rush. So the time will start as soon as we legitimately enter the fight. Now before we did like kind of go between, I don't know why I'm doing that. We did like kind of go like between his legs and then grapple onto like a hook on his butt. But we can instead grapple onto here as soon as possible, grapple up here. Hello, I would like, thank you. The Satyr's just screaming right now, understandable. So we're gonna ring the spell, let go. And at a certain point in his animation, we can safely drop down. And depending on like wind physics, I'll be able to drop like onto his head, hopefully.
Nice.
There we go.
Perfect.
And you'll be able to see, hopefully I can get 2 concise rings of his bell, which I was not able to do in any percent. And if I can just, and hopefully it'll show the flinging. No fling. No splash. Yeah, that's the fling right there that you have to be careful of.
Almost.
Yeah.
So yeah, ideally, excuse me, if she would have gotten around the neck a little faster, you would have avoided the shake entirely.
Yeah. And you just kind of rinse and repeat that particular technique. But there is a cooldown for when you can activate that, and you kind of heard that thump, thump, thump in the background. That's the cooldown for like the funny yellow sigil to activate. So if you like fail like the IL trick, you can simply just ring this bell, fly back, and then go onto his back. But you can kind of see it's a very heavy blizzard right now, so I might actually be able to like show off. So I'm going really fast in this direction because the wind is behind me.
Wind RNG.
So do be heckin' windy though. It's also nighttime. Sus.
Yeah, so this normally doesn't happen in any percent. Like, blizzards rarely happen. And if they do, they're rare they occur.
Yeah, look at me go. I'm just going like in a complete wrong direction, and there's nothing I can do.
And if they do
But now
occur,
that they, yeah.
But if they do occur, they're rarely in a boss fight as well. So getting this is
Nice and quick, Seder.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like anywhere close to like record or anything, because that requires a perfect wind for like 2 solid minutes, which is impossible for the game. And also like perfect movement. Like you need to land on his head just as his head comes down, not be bounced off by his head, by the momentum of his head coming down, ring the bell straight away, move, hopefully grab up in the right place, you know what I mean? It's a whole kerfuffle. It's so awkward.
Get to the shoulder, do the shoulder during head shake. After that, get a shake, jump off using the physics to get back to the bell, strike the bell, and then go back. Would not recommend for new.
It doesn't all seem like all that complicated until you go and try to do it, and you're like, oh, yeah, no, this is rough.
Heckin', that's the first time we meet the dog as well. You can actually hear like the sigil bell thing resetting itself in the background during the cutscene, and I find that's kind of dumb.
Doesn't this Echo Rush cutscene make you watch like the whole thing, or is it just that one?
I don't think so. It's just that one.
Okay.
Yeah, as this is just a death cutscene, whereas like the other cutscene is like the hub world.
Yeah.
80% cutscene, so because we're not in 80%, we completely skip that.
Okay, cool.
And then we just kind of go back to this prayer statue. So there's these prayer statues kind of scattered all around, like, near the bosses of the game, apart from one, which is Krogon for some reason.
Yeah, they took it out. It used to be there.
Yeah.
And these also used to be save shrines.
It used to be.
Oh yeah, they used to be save shrines because you used to be able to. You could always manual save in the menu, right? But they also had save shrines for some reason where you could also do it there.
Originally, there was no manual save.
Oh, was
these
there no
were
manual?
the save
Okay.
points. So then they added manual save, and they were save shrines. It's like, well, okay, and then they turned those save shrines into Echo Rush. So
Gotcha.
So now, Devourer has a different strat in Echo Rush. The reason we're not doing,
IO.
any percent.
And any percent, he has 3 different strats, honestly.
I think I have some soul arrows. So when you use an item in Echo Rush and you were to like go out of Echo Rush, you do get it replenished, right?
I don't know. I keep a safe file with all my soul arrows.
I'm fairly certain on
Judge,
that.
yes.
There is a glitch with Echo Rush that you can utilize, but it is so specific and it's only for like one or I think only one. So the thing about it, so it puts you into this is still overworld shenanigans. You can place items into the arenas because, after you beat a boss, they kind of calcify, they become stone, and you can go to the stone boss to initiate the fight once more. But the items stay if you place them. And so one of these items is an explosive arrow. You can place an explosive arrow, use another explosive arrow to then detonate that one for certain strats. And now we're waiting on a Kamehameha.
This is
When he
another
Hadouken.
RNG aspect. It's completely random how many times he'll actually shoot before he does the big charge.
There it is. And if you shoot him like this during the hello, what was
It
that
has to be
timing?
during the charge.
A little late.
This is fine, but you get the idea. Like you just have to shoot him like during then, and then as soon as you do that, you kind of grapple onto one of these, and then he's lowered in your direction, so you can get onto a grappling hook. Assuming soul arrows do actually replenish. I'm gonna go into my inventory right here. Where art thou? Is that a soul arrow? Okay, cool. So this is a soul arrow. It's a beam of light, and it's basically the same as like a laser, for example. So that's actually going to activate Worm's puzzle, and what you can do. The freeze. Hold on. How's the freeze frame looking? Nice.
Incredible.
That's nice. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Anyway. So, Echo Rush, you can either go into like an IL through the prayer stone, like I'm doing right now, or you can go and pray at their dead bodies. And the funny thing is, so you can complete a boss's puzzle before before praying at their dead body to activate the fight. And if you complete their puzzle before you enter their fight, the puzzle will still be complete when you go back into that fight, when you actually go back into that fight. So if I wanted to, in the overworld, I could go to Worm's dead body, illuminate all 3 of these with soul arrows, activate his fight by praying to him, to his body, and then the whole puzzle's complete, and all I have to do is go to like the main switch, jump on him, and it's just a massive time save. And you only do that in the genuine IL like single level, individual level run of this boss.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what,
Rush, sorry, for Echo Rush, it's you have to do it from the statue like Usu's doing now. But if you want to do like the specific strat she's talking about, you can do it for specifically just an IL run.
Yeah. So there's again different ways you can do Worm, and of course the way the way I do it in Echo Rush, you just shoot any normal arrow into his mouth as he's charging an attack, and then you'll stun him temporarily, just long enough for you to be able to grapple onto him, which is nice. So yeah, you got to exit Echo mode because we don't actually need to fight Worm, because there's nothing different going on in Worm's actual fight. It's just a setup to Worm's fight. And of course we're not going to get into Boar, because Boar is exactly the same. Boar is still the same dumb auto-scroller that he was before, and I don't feel like even trying an IL Boar, because IL Boar is just like a nightmare. It's one of them things where it's just like you have to continuously grind the boss again with no breaks in order to get like some kind of flow rolling. That's just what the game does to you. Dreki is exactly the same. Yeti is exactly the same. Now, Krogon, you might have to give me like a minute with this boy. So
this one's very precise.
You two can just go ahead with all the explaining. Go ham.
I have never done this strat because it scares me. So
weak.
So when we do it in this mode, you'll notice that we're on this part of the ground. This is the exit for the other door. So if you enter entrance. Yeah, it's
okay, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, thank you, Floor. Okay.
Quick restart.
Yeah. Retry button.
Please,
that
Parnell,
would be
I beg of you.
Parnell, if you're watching, I'll offer you a cat in for a retry button, which will make my life infinitely easier running this game and grinding and practicing. Please, I just require a reset button.
But
anyway.
But the chonker though,
He do be heckin' chonk though, he really do. So yeah, that's why we want to use the retry button.
So
yeah, but you can continue explaining. There's a lot of things possibly going on with Krogon, and if someone wants to also explain like how you can do Krogon's intended puzzle at his dead statue as well, just go for it.
So there's gonna be a couple. The intended solution is you're gonna come down here where she started, and there's to her right now there's a little statue or kind of temple thing, and on top of it there's sigils, and there's 2 of those. You can climb up on those and activate them, and then it will raise the middle one, and then you can go up there, stand in the middle, and Krogon will dive bomb you, and then you pull out your bow and shoot him in the face when his mouth is glowing and whatnot, and that activates a little cutscene where he dive bombs into the snow and gets stuck.
Wind RNG, oh no.
Recoverable,
I got like
question mark?
10 seconds. There you go. Recoverable Hodge.
And then he gets stuck in the snow, and then you climb on him that way, and then he gets back up and starts flying. And then there's also what she's doing right now.
This is why I have full stamina, so I can hopefully do a spike strat that's like incredibly precise. It's bad when you know that like Tactic, the literal world record holder of any percent, doesn't do this strat. or hasn't tried it even.
I just haven't bothered.
Bro,
See, look at
grappling
that.
hook. Hello.
Green grapple?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so targets are supposed to be generous when you're aiming your grapple. Like, you can be a full target off and still get to it. However, as shown there, but for this strat, it's going to a vent, going up, going to Krogan's belly, doing the belly sigil, while Krogan's in this vertical state of wing is down. We're going to drop from the belly and go straight to the end of the wing, but we have to maneuver around the wing since you can only grab the top part of Krogan's wing. As you can see, like, the bottom's very fat-like, and you can't... That's not a legal grab zone.
Legal grab zone. So that's not a legal move. You'll have to like rethink yourself.
There's also a riskier strat, just for Krogan in general. This is more Echo Rush, but at any percent, you can do kind of fling strats. Because
Yeah,
since...
fling off the wing.
Yeah, so as when we did any percent, we did wing, belly, tail. The riskier strat does wing, tail, wing, belly. And the way how you maneuver around that is getting flung off of Krogan and then doing aerial maneuvers to get back on. And did we get it? Yes.
So I need to immediately hold square, and just ring. Relentlessly, I need to ring. I need to keep ringing. That's all that's on my mind. Ring the bells, ring the bells. So, ring, he's gonna flap, hold. The boom, wait out shake animation, readjust my camera, let go. Hold. Ah, just missed it. Oh, that's so close. Yeah. So that's like how precise. I missed it by like not even like a fraction of a second by his wing just going all of a sudden. And that's why camera's so important as well, because camera affects like it can affect how you move in the air, it affects how you grab on to Krogon's fur, any fight's fur. But yeah, that was so close. Like I grinded this IL for a while, and that's why it's my favorite, because it's the IL I got closest to Judge's record on. So yeah. Again, shoutouts to Judge Magister in chat for like...
Yeah, the man's insane.
He walked so we could run, essentially. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, this Krogan is... Was it originally number 5, now number 6? Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
And... definitely lots of developments from how this fight was approached due to glitches getting patched out, behaviors of Krogan being a little different, because when they added Dreki into the game, they changed the physics a little bit. So that's how the McSlider got accidentally patched out.
Bro, hello, I would like to grapple. Grapple be like, no.
Not allowed.
So basically what I need to do is I need to get to this air vent with full stamina by around 40 to 42 seconds. And then I can just, just time a jump right. Because I have full stamina, I need not worry. And as long as I get to like certain height, I see Krogon start to turn. I know I'm safe, I need to hold my analog stick towards him. I'm free falling. And I hold. There we go. Try again.
Nice.
And also something of note is during that grapple, if you're too far away, the whip to the target can interact with Krogan's feet and act as a barrier in between you and your
then
target,
and
you just fall.
Ooh.
Come on, bud.
Oh.
Again, just Krogon being like Krogon, like a split second. Like, you can kind of tell by his audio cue when he's gonna do, like, a full turn. But yeah, like, you don't actually have to grab onto him from midair. If you watch, like, Judge's, like, world record, he actually gets onto the statue like a lot quicker, like before, and then just simply glides towards Krogon. But if you do it the way like I do it, there's a chance you can actually grapple onto him just maybe like a second or two if you're really like going for it before you would if you were on the statue, for example, which then gives you like a slightly better window to ring the bells and then, you know, hopefully get the IL strat, which is like really what you want. I actually got it in so I have the only Echo Rush run on the board right now, so it's just like lonely record that should really be beaten. Yeah, my Echo Rush run, which I'm actually going to be running Echo Rush at Flame Fatales in August, so if y'all want to, you know, come by for that and watch me do an actual like full game run and not just like a scuffed explanation run, yeah, do tune in for that. I'm also going to be running The Last Guardian with Sable Dragon Rook, so that's going to be poggers, I guess. Let's wrap up to here, got plenty of time. But yeah, like, putting everything into a full game run, like, it's very, like, difficult, even though it's not, you know, the most, like, trick-heavy game or whatever. Like, the sheer amount of, like, things, like, underlying things going on in the game at any given point is, like, it's mad, it's pretty mad. And if I just keep feathering this, like, IL, we'll move on to, like, Thrall and see how Thrall's treating us. I left that a little late, to be fair. We can save it, though. There we go. Preferably by like 58 to 59 seconds, I want to be in slow-mo mode. 57 is like really good too. Come on. But this IL is definitely like the best, because of course we know exactly how Krogon's going to fly around the arena, and we just use that to our advantage. So I'm gonna hold. Good boy, yes, good bird. Nice. That's not it. That's like the hardest part, I guess. So what I'm gonna do is what I did before. Gonna ring the bell. Krogon's gonna flap because that's his instinctive reaction. He's gonna want to flap again, but if I let go, he thinks I'm not on his sigil anymore, so he just kind of like doesn't flap. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, so when you let go, there's like a frame or two where you're technically not on Krogon, and so that's where the AI manip and fling to the tail here.
Strat. The swag.
It just looks so cool, like flying through the air, and I still need to be quick. I am on like a very tight timer because he's flying around the arena, and I have to be like looking at the timer, looking back, looking at the timer, looking back, checking my bell rings, checking my stamina. Even if I like hold the bell out for too long, which I kind of just did because I'm talking and I can't concentrate properly when I'm talking. Yeah, like every genuine second counts. He's gonna level himself out now. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually you want to land down lower on the wing.
Yeah, that works.
The closer you are to like the bell sigil, obviously, you know, you can probably avoid like that flap if you're like really lucky. And of course he just rings bell.
She's insane.
Hit. Legit crazy lady right here. Rings bell.
And world record for this IL is 257, correct? By Judge Majesty.
It's 253, and we just hit 10 seconds off world record for IL, which is like impressive in itself. Yeah, but you need to like perfect the cycles. You need to land like pretty much on the bells on the wings as well. Like the fact that I even got 259 on this IL is just. It's just like a miracle.
4 off your PB. That's really good.
Yeah, exactly. So, Krogon, this is what the run could be if we were just better at the game. Yeah, well, it's a shame that you just can't do the strat in any percent because this strat just looks like.
It looks so cool. I just don't know if it's like a comparable time because of how long it takes to get over there.
Right. So you have to. You would have to do the puzzle at the cave, get there, and then do this strat. The issue is that doing the other path is significantly faster, and you can still get onto Krogon fairly fast. It's a different cycle. Yes, it's slower by a little bit, but the overall time save is faster. And so there's still a lot of risky strats that can be implemented into any percent. The thing about it is when you do any percent Praey for the God speedruns, it is tight. There's a lot of difficult tricks, and there's so many things that can go wrong, and you have to do this consistent for an hour.
Yeah,
So
it's tough.
Yeah. If anyone has an experience playing any kind of like boss rush, like kind of game, but like boss centered game, you would fully understand the pain of like every single boss is a variable. But imagine like wind being a variable too, and it's just a cherry on top. Thanks, game. Thanks, Parnell.
And it's also any mistake. It's not like, oh, this is a 5-second or 10-second mistake. Most mistakes in this game is easily a minute and a half.
A minute plus.
Yeah. You fall off, you get punished. You have to like spend like a minute trying to get back on in some cases. You have to deal with like the same shakes, and it's just really, really not a fun time. Luckily, with something like Thrall, for example, we completely avoid every single bit of wind physics because you're in like a sheltered cave, which makes thank goodness makes like traversing him like so much easier. So I'm actually gonna go back into Thrall and see if I can try and like show off like a bit more of him, maybe, I guess. So actually try and do like a proper IL. If I remember, I don't remember the audio cue, but you can absolutely destroy his AI and wreck it into a million tiny different pieces, and it looks hella funny. It's like funnier than Pickle Rick. Seriously, like it's amazing.
So it's a weird glitch, and I don't know if we fully understand it at the moment. We know how to trigger it, but it's essentially what occurs is you kind of fall off of Thrall's arm at a certain point in the animation, and Thrall enters this bullet time of just himself.
Okay.
And yeah, so you can shoot the boulders, but that's not, and they're giant.
Bro, I literally shot the boulders instead of leg.
Yeah,
this
their
Thrall's
hitbox
already like
is about 10 times the size of the actual ball.
Yeah, so like the Thrall's leg hitbox is actually like massive, for example. Yeah, this is not how you do Thrall. See if I can actually do something else. If I can try and get like an example of like AI locking him. I don't even know what you'd want to call it, really. Like
I just call it bullet time Thrall because he goes into super slow-mo.
Yeah.
But it's animation locked in his own shooting animations, goofball.
There's like a spare grabbable like few pixels over here that we can kind of use to our advantage.
Honestly,
So
don't know if
grab on-
intended or not, but it's there, so we use it.
Oh, that being
Thanks, game.
grabbable?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, that's intended.
It doesn't feel like it when you're walking on it.
It's really like hard to like grab onto his arm as well, so I'll just reboot the save. Basically like, so remember how earlier he was raising his arm to do like a laser beam animation? If you interrupt that animation by jumping down, he will continue doing that animation but really slowly, just again and again, but his head will still lock onto your character, and his head can do like full turns and wheelies, like it can spin. Like, I remember Tactic, you said one time you got it by accident and he didn't realize until you're on his back.
Man, he
And
shot
then it's
me
just-
off the pillar.
Yeah, and
It's
he
like,
just
what are you doing, bro?
yeah, like really scary stuff. We don't exactly know what triggers it, so I've accidentally triggered like this weird AI thing, just being completely still, and Thrall just doesn't know what to do with himself. He just kind of spaces out like, dude, like, why am I here?
Just like
Just to
all of us
suffer.
here. Just,
Yeah, why am I here?
True.
but when it comes to Thrall is, as any percent we go to him first, but for Echo Rush in particular, there's several crazy strats that you can do that it involves a soul arrow. And I think it's possible with an explosive arrow, but it is...
Oh no, that strat. we
Oh, yeah,
are not
judges,
like
right,
mentally
yeah.
like ready, like I'm not mentally ready for that.
So, you know, we've showed the easy strat for this, and it's very doable. It gives you a solid, like, 8-ish minute time when it comes to thrall. The world record for this is under 3 minutes at the moment.
Yeah, he's
And this
insane.
is,
Damn, bro.
and so part of that is getting full rings on Thrall's leg after doing arm. Just completely finishing that bell. Oh, nice shot.
Nice shot.
It's actually a predicted shot. You can predict that shot. It looks really cool, but once you find out that when you move this certain way, Thrall will always after each boulder toss move in the same angle and position no matter what, as long as you keep your movements the same every time. So I know exactly after a boulder shot number, I don't know because I haven't been counting. I count by flower shots, to be honest. I know he's gonna swing left. He's gonna swing like right, his right, I guess. He's gonna swing to his right, and I know that hitting his like drum at a certain angle as he's swinging right, even though it looks like I'll miss it, the fact that he swings will actually make the flower like hit it. It's not like a luck thing, it's a genuine like aim and the backup if you miss the initial shot. And you can miss the initial shot if it's not even your fault, because you need to hit the pillar and you need to hit the drum. So getting both in one shot is so precise, and the fact that there is this backup is also very, very cool. Shouts to me. I need to break the hand. Sorry, I'm gloating a bit too much.
All good. But the world record strat at the moment, after it does 2 rings on hand, gets full leg, all of that, does 1 more on the hand, flings off of hand,
No stun.
shoots an explosive arrow into the belly, and that is what hits the inner sigil. So the safe strat is just go on top, you know, grapple the switch from inside. This one does, as you're being flung to Thrall's head, shoot an explosive arrow or soul arrow to make it super easy.
Did a heckin' big jump though. Okay, full. Okay. So we fell, so we're not going to get like an IL or anything, but if I've knocked off his armor, so I may be able to show off something. Nah, it'll be like a late jump. It shouldn't work really. You can see how his like head's kind of crooked. No, it's not gonna work. Yeah, so if you like jump down at a specific point in his animation, or just any random point even sometimes, he will just get really confused and just really keep on, bro, fingernails? Okay.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, grapple hook be like...
Yeah, so there was a small little slow-mo that occurred. It lasted like maybe a second. Mm-hmm. But when you get it, it lasts like a minute. It's...
Might be able to get it from a drop down. It might confuse him enough. Not entirely sure. Is that it?
I think it is. Yeah,
There we go.
he's
Look at
confused
him
as well.
go!
Yeah, so
Look at this dude!
this
Look
is
at
what
this dude!
like this weird physics.
He's just animation locked in. Look at his neck. Oh my god.
Yo, you okay there, bro? You need some milk. Oh lord. Like my
he's
guy is like,
animation lock in the shooting animation. He
yeah,
doesn't know
so
what to do
his
about
head, he thinks you're on his arm when really I am definitely not on his arm. So he's completely stunned animation, and there's a few different ways in which I can reset him back to normal point. But I don't want to do that because Thrall's like a bit of a meanie, and this is like revenge, to be honest. So his head's just fully 180'd. So he's still locked onto me, but he's also just not locked onto me at the same time. His head should not move like that. So you can actually use this to your advantage. So I did it accidentally once and I didn't realize, where I locked him out by dropping down and went onto his leg. When he's in this state, you can hop onto the leg, ring the bell 3 times consecutively, and Thrall won't move a muscle. He'll still be shooting his arm or whatever. Like, it's pretty mad. But then if you go to a certain point in his body, or like, he will just kind of remember, like, oh wait a second, what am I doing? You know, let's get back to normal. And only when you like hit those like back to normal triggers does he actually go back to normal. You can do the same thing with his other arm as well. Okay, he's back to normal actually, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if you go like in a certain radius as well, he'll kind of clock out of that like glitch state. So yeah, like that is the glitch state. We're trying to find a way to like incorporate that glitched AI state so that we can maybe, you know, make the IL shorter, so that maybe we can, you know, words into my head aren't
Any
coming
percent
out.
shenanigans.
Yes, because when you either get it accidentally or on purpose. So if you want to get it on purpose, it's a very tiny window to like get that that stunted AI. But sometimes you just do it accidentally and there's just no meaning for that, and unfortunately we just, at the moment, the data we have, we just simply do not know. But if you are a new starter to the game and you're just like, looks funny, I want to do that too, grab onto his arm, let go, fall to the floor, stun his animation, you can get three bell rings on his leg and then go back up to his arm and carry on the fight as normal. Like, it's actually quite a beginner friendly strat once you get the timing down, which is like very good, very nice. And yeah, that's was there anything else I have to show off? Actually, this has got to be like most of it for now.
Yeah, when it comes to Echo Rush, there's no other significant thing that hasn't been shown in any percent already.
Yeah, there are riskier strats, but that's risky. Like, I could go into Dreki, try and do a perfect Dreki fight, but I just could also be resetting again and again for that perfect fight, for the, you know, perfect movement stuff. So it's just not worth like going into. But obviously, like, the ones I didn't show in this kind of Echo Rush montage are going to be the same as they are in any percent. So yeah, I'm really happy we got to show off like Thrall having his like moment.
Yeah,
like
can't figure it out.
Breakneck moment back there. Yeah. So does that mean I have to like get the cat? Does mean I have to wake His Majesty?
You always get the cat.
I have a treat in my. Maybe he'll wake up.
Pet cat percent. All food has been awoken. He's considering it.
Depth perception be like, my guy.
He's considering it. There he goes. He's like, all right. Food, it's worth getting up.
I need you to be on the desk. No, he likes being on my desk when I don't want him to be, but as soon as I'm like, hey, it's time for stream treats, he's like, I'm like, oh yeah. He's thinking. He do be doing a think. He's thinking about it. There we go.
There we go.
Some heckin' big chops. So I've actually taught him how to do tricks. Actually, let's see if I can move this down a bit. Hey, it's very hard. Sit.
It's like, give me some food.
He just wants to sit. Good boy. I know you can't see his paw right now, but if I just pull, he's doing it in spirit. I know you can't see it, but he's doing it in spirit. You can also turn around. Turn. We do it on the desk. Turn. Turn. Do it. Let's go!
Oh, look at that.
Let's go! Sin. Turn. No. Turn.
I already did that.
I already did that one. Turn. Oh, you're too cute. I can't deny you. It's really cool because I taught him how to like do like spins. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? If I go to feed him like a bowl of food, he will spin for the food. I also have like a treat bell, so I'm just gonna get the treat bell real quick. You would stay right there, mister. I have lost the treat bell, or no? Backup strat, where is it? Rip. Oh. It's alright to catch
You need more
dominating the
fire?
stream.
Food?
Where did I put it? Okay, I seem to have lost the item, so... Right, give him the rest of his treat, and then we can probably call it a night. There we go, everyone give cat pets. If you got pet emotes, put pet emotes in chat. Cat emotes, just pet the cat. Pet the cat's very important. We love the cat in this chat. Yeah, it's gone. My friend, it's gone. You've eaten it all. You have devoured. And yeah, I guess we have to do an outro now, so any kind of shout outs you two want to give? Any special thanks?
Obviously Judge. I know we've said him about 16 times already, but without him, we would not understand about half the mechanics that we already do. So him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The devs.
Yeah, so... Yeah, shout outs to devs.
Yep, Parnell, Tim, the other one, I can't remember his name.
Ian.
The third
There you
one.
go, that one. But yeah, give me a retry button, please. I beg of you.
Yeah. Yeah, Parnell, please give us a retry button. And also, you know, just shout out to like the very small, tiny Pray for the Gods community. Just for like being just like super like pog. Shout outs to you two, Tactic, and Fuzzles, for also helping with commentary. Like, this is their first ever like it's not technically a marathon, but it's their first ever like stage appearance for like any kind of speed game. So if everyone can just give them like a nice like GG or congratulations, like they've like rocked commentary and like
Thank you.
just like done so amazing through all the nerves and stuff. So like you two like were so good. And also shout outs to like tech. Shout outs to Richard on tech. I had a blip earlier, and yeah, Richard is just like really working hard. I know he does all the tech stuff. Shout outs to Church as a cat, but I don't want that. Shout outs to Church and such. For also inviting me to How to Train a Speedrunner. I completely didn't expect this invite because I rarely stream and this game's so new. So it's been an honor being able to show this to like so many people like live on stage. So I want to thank you so much, Church, for like the opportunity. Also just shout outs to GDQ in general for just being awesome beans. I'm going to be on Fatals. Yeah, I'm going to be on Fatals at the end of August, so stay tuned for that. If you want to see more Pray for the Gods content, I will be streaming on and off for Fatals practice. And I'll also be lead organising a very small marathon. So I'm also part of Team Eco Speedruns, and unfortunately one of the runners passed away recently, so I'm organising a charity marathon in his name, and we're going to be doing a Pray for the Gods 80% race between me and Tic Tac, not Tactic, Tic Tac.
My mortal enemy.
Yeah, mortal enemy and rival. And I'm going to be doing Echo Rush there as well on Team Eco Speedruns Twitch. So that's going to be like another like marathon appearance, I guess, like before Fatals. And if you just want to see his lord, his majesty. And yeah, if we have any other closing words, Church.
So one thing I like to do, and I'll open up to the commentary as well for this one, is just kind of ask, like, generally, do you have any tips for not necessarily speedrunning this game, but like just speedrunning in general? Like for anybody who's out there looking to get into speedrunning, do you have any like general advice for them?
Alright, let me consult the scrolls real quick. No, I'm just joking. for me personally, if speedrunning was easy, everyone would do it, everyone would have a top time. If you're just a new speedrunner getting into speedrunning, it's okay to fail, it's okay to not be the best at speedruns. Like, it takes time to perfect something like art or music or just any other hobby. You know, you don't get good without practice, and it has to be efficient practice. You have to accept your failures, let it kind of help you grow. And you shouldn't fight it, you should just roll with it. Be like, oh, I missed this trick, maybe I should do this next time. And then you start to realize, oh, I did this too late, I did this too early. And then without even realizing, by yourself, you'll know what to do. You don't need a tutorial, you just become your own, like, emporium of, like, brain mass, in a way. And yes, speedrunning in general, like, is amazing, but, like, if you're a bit defeatist, like, it can be really rough to get into it, but it's just perseverance. If you don't have much time, I work full time, I don't have much time to speedrun. Even if I can come here and do this, so can anyone else working in a full-time job. Like, you do not need to be a full-time streamer grinding in the hours every day, like, 9 hours a day even. You don't have to be like, you can be anyone and be a speedrunner. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you're from, what gender you are, what you identify as. Like, it doesn't matter who your parents were. Like, it doesn't even matter if, you know, there's like a speedrunner called Half Coordinated who runs a game with one hand, and he's a far better runner than I could ever hope to be, and he has one hand. The powers of speedrunners are limitless, and all you just need is just the dedication to get to it. And I feel like I'm writing a speech. And anyone else want to say anything?
The only game that I really speedrun is Praey. So like the only advice that I have is just find a game that you genuinely enjoy playing, because Praey is one of those. The second I picked it up, I loved it because I've always loved Shadows, but I've never had like a PlayStation to actually play it. So when Praey came out, it was just, I was like, absolutely. So I loved running it. I still love running it. So just my advice would just be find one that you actually thoroughly enjoy playing, not just to get a spot on a leaderboard.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Puzzles, what about you?
Yeah, so the first game I ever speedran was a game called Apron Call, but when it comes to speedrunning games, fun should honestly come first. Like, don't find a game you genuinely enjoy, and then, try playing it fast if you want to, if that's something that intrigues you, because you may have games that you thoroughly enjoy, but they may not be a great speed game for you. They may take too long, maybe too trick intensive, whatever it may be. Another good piece of advice in general is when you get to time, do not compare yourself to whoever's at the top of the leaderboard. Just focus on bettering your own time, because I've seen a lot of people try to get into speedrunning and they're like, oh man, I'll never get this time, and I won't be better than them. Something that a lot of people need to realize, these runners, we have put so many hours into the game that just with anything, don't walk into something and, thinking, oh yes, I can put a little bit of time into this and then hit first or hit second. Because how many hours have you put into this game, Tactic?
According to Steam, about 200, 130.
And if you look at, like, mine, for example, if we look at, like, my manual save file, it's 27 hours. It's mildly embarrassing, but oh well.
And that's not even including, like, because that's, like, reloading from the same save. It doesn't include that time. So it's very much find a game, just enjoy yourself. If you're not having fun, don't force it. If there's just some wonky category, because you don't have to speedrun any percent. Or somebody randomly did death percent for this game. And people just ran with it.
It's the best category, let's be real, apart from Pet Doggo. It goes Pet Doggo, Death Percent, and the other two don't matter, to be honest.
So, enjoyment's my biggest advice, and don't force something upon yourself that you're not happy with.
Yeah.
And yeah, fun's also a very important aspect. If you're not enjoying it, like, you probably shouldn't do it. The same as, like, if you're not enjoying a job, you maybe shouldn't be doing that job.
Yeah.
Don't enjoy eating something, don't eat it. Like, same concept. Just do what you love, and that's like, yeah, just do what you love.
Yeah. I'm glad you all brought that up, because I think those are, like, very important points. Like, especially the fun one. Like, if you're not having fun, you know, pick something that you can find something that you'll have fun doing. Like, we most of us are here in the speedrunning community because we want to have fun playing the games we want to play. So if you're not having fun, I'm sure there's a game you'll find that will be fun for you to speedrun. So I do want to thank all of you so much for being on here. One of my favorite parts about this show is, I mean, besides like giving others the ability to, you know, get into speedrunning, it's having people who are very passionate about their games, you know, come on the show and share their love of the game, share their knowledge of it. So thank you all so much. You've all been so great. One more time, just a reminder that Usu will have a run at Flame Fatales, I guess, later this month, so be sure to check that out. And if y'all don't have any other closing things to say, we'll call it there.
Yeah, thank you so much, and for the opportunity and the spotlight. Yeah.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was such an amazing pleasure to have you all here, so thank you all so much.
Awesome.
With that, we will, this is the last show of the night, so I will just give a few quick reminders. We do have our highlight channel on YouTube, so you can use !highlight in chat to learn more about that. And tomorrow, we are going to be having What's Faster, followed by one of our new shows, Grudge Match. That's going to be starting at about 7 p.m. Eastern. Besides that, we're going to take a few-minute break just to look for a raid target. So if y'all wouldn't mind sticking around through that so you can help us cheer on somebody else in their speedrun, that would be amazing. Besides that, have a great night, everybody, and take care. Thanks for dropping by.
Bye.